He concurs. You know, the drinking was getting crazy because I would show up at Sullivan's before the show, and people knew I would do my show prep there, so they started showing up to do a shot with me, and they'd come back to the table that I would be at and do some shots. Then Gino's show would end.
Hello, Dabbleverse. Good Shabbos to you all. I'm glad we're here. Waiting for my co-host to brush his hair and blow his nose. And we'll be on there. And no, Rochi, Dave Sarah is not the special guest. Dave is a regular who's very irregular. We have another special guest. If you'd like a link, I'd be happy to send one to you. You could join us from your couch in England. I'm going to just start this because I got some clips and I can't stay up too late. So let me do this first clip and then maybe we'll do some Gino talk tonight.
And so Gino would come in and more shots. This is before I even start my show.
Right.
And then I get to the studio and somebody's there. And if it was Wednesday, Gavin, and we're doing shots and then constant beers. Like beers were constantly.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even just at Sullivan's and then the show. I leave, go home, play video games, and the fridge was full of beer. And it didn't stop until, I'd take a swig, the last swig of the beer, and then go to bed. So it was just a lot of drinking. So, but that obviously is off the table.
I always say it was because of what happened was because of the schedule. Because once Gino became full-time before you at 4 o'clock, because before I was there, and then Gino and Aaron were in the morning. So you wouldn't see Gino as much. But once you saw Gino every day and his show was the lead into your show, that was the end of it. Because listen, I've gotten drunk with Gino. Gino's like a fun drunk, and it's hard to say no to Gino.
Yes.
Because he loves to be, he loves Sullivan's, and he loves having the party over there and the fans
loud, center of attention.
So you're like a Debbie Downer if you don't accept the shot,
right. Yeah. So, nothing a drunk hates more than someone that won't drink with them.
Right, especially if you're his best friend.
Yeah, if you go, no, I'm not having one today, you look and go like, oh, what? You're so fucking special. You cannot drink and I have to. You're like, oh, okay. I'll do it.
That just reminds me of the fact that you were there when Pat Dixon walked in. I watched Gino.
Oh, I saw it. I was
watching. You were like 10.
Thought I'd wet your whistle a bit, boys. Any gals? Do we have any gals?
No.
We have like 7 people watching, so I doubt we have.
Wow, really?
Any? Yeah, and that includes Twitter. So if there's a miracle and we somehow get to 80, we'll have beaten BYB. And I think you're just the draw to do that. So
just get a fruit avatar, like a fruit filter, and you'll be fine, dude. Be the tomato or something.
I need a fruit filter, by the way.
Shmuel.
I need a filter.
Salad.
Listen,
salad.
I don't know am I on the right mic? I don't know if you are because you sound a little bit far away.
Oh, you sound perfect. Let me see if I'm on the right mic.
This is that cheap mic you told me to get.
I'm not. There you go. Now it should be better.
All right, cool.
All right.
So on the 28th of January, I'm going in for a face thing where they got to laser off all this shit on my face. So they said I'm going to look like hell for a couple of weeks after. More hell than I look now, which is pretty hard to do.
Sure.
So I'll need a filter at some point so I don't scare women and small children.
All right. Stop trying to be Ray and start you doing your bits now.
Hint. No, I'm not doing a bit. That's actually
fucking
true.
Riffing. I don't want to hear the riffs right now, dude. This is no riff.
Oh my God. Here we go. This is our usual. This is like me and Mrs. Buckman together.
10, 15 feet away, right?
I love this story, so let's hear it.
Yeah, I was at the back table. They were at the back corner of the bar. So yeah. I'm like, what the
I just
was
like
that?
his
I thought
laugh.
it was a bit.
You were like seeing things or something?
Yeah, I didn't know how to process it. I thought it was a bit, at first.
thought it was a bit.
And then I saw Gino like bleeding from the mouth.
This is a good bit.
This is a great bit. Wow, these guys really take it to the limit. Would you use a little razor blade like the wrestlers?
He's gonna get a chair and smash it over.
Yeah, chair over the head. Oh my God, King! Gino's bleeding. What a slobber knocker this has turned into.
That must have been incredible to be there. It's like being there for JFK or whatever. It's like you can't even believe this is actually happening.
I know, it was crazy, and I didn't even have Gavin to fire Pat with, so I had to do that myself. Or I think actually E-Rock might have done it, but it was under my guidance. I extorted him into doing that.
I thought that was going to go longer, and I thought we were going to see the clip of where he talks about Gino getting twice the money.
Right. No, it's not a Doom clip. It's a Stalin clip. They're succinct and to the point. And Stalin, I know you're out there listening. I know I said this to you before, but keep clipping MLC and you'll be the #1 clipper in no time.
That was a Stalin clip, and I was going to thank him. Oh, the Doom, you're saying the Doom clip is the other.
Doom's been doing longer clips more recently.
Doom is the best.
And I've been razzing him for it.
Yeah,
it's like razzing that kid in school that like everybody knew had a big dick but shouldn't. So you just razz him for having a big dick. You know, everybody had that one friend.
Okay, Dave.
I wasn't that friend. I'm saying that, like, we had that friend.
You've been very into men and their meat lately. What is going on?
I don't know.
Is that like
I've been off like drugs for a while.
Armenian thing? Oh, yeah, that'll do it to you. The problem with that is you start turning serious. You know, when I quit drinking, I also quit taking like Xanax and anything else I could get my hands on, and I felt great, and I was, had some intelligence back and things like that, but I gained 70 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
that happens when you that's what happened with everybody I know that quit smoking, except for my dad. Everybody I know quit smoking, they all gained weight. Everybody I know that quit smoking weed, they all gained weight. Quit doing heroin, gained weight. But that one's understandable.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's funny, man.
Honestly, the longer you go doing coke, I feel like you end up getting that coke belly. Even girls get it. It's almost like the Ethiopian kids. You know how they get that bloated belly?
You get that from doing coke or from not doing coke?
From doing it. Like you don't get skinny like some people think. You end up getting that like bloated beer belly almost. Girls get it all the time. Girls that do a lot of coke, they end up getting that like they're like skinny, but then for some reason they have this like weird. Is that why I don't stop, Dave? Yes. Then they end up getting this weird, like, pudgy. Maybe it's from the beer.
Well, maybe it's because what happens is they're wrecking the rest of their body, and that's like the last place that
I don't know.
They're so skinny everywhere else. Maybe that's
maybe the muffin topping. I don't know. But let's talk about girls that do a lot of coke are a lot of fun. They are except here's the issue: when they're not on coke, it's very dangerous for them to suck your dick because then they're all stuffed up and they keep on they can't breathe. Keep on having to do that. That's why you gotta hit another couple rails and then clear that shit up.
Oh,
right,
see, my deal is that it's not big enough to fill, so they can breathe fine. Anyway, let me take off my my trapper's hat. I ran outside to smoke a cigar before we started because I asked Mrs. Buckman to watch the show, which she never does. And the one that she chose to watch was me sitting here smoking cigars in the house. And
she got pissed.
Oh boy. I
can't even smoke a fucking cigar in my own house on my own show.
So so we've got two places. We've talked about that, right? So she's down at the house, I'm up at the apartment, and it was in the apartment I was smoking it. And I thought I was really cool because I have that Ozium stuff Remember that
Yeah.
shit in the car dealership? So I had that. I got a
Strippers,
can.
stuff what strippers use.
I got a can. Strippers use it. You'll have to tell me later. And I have a candle, that's supposed to clear up smoke and all that other shit. I opened the door to the deck and I got the fan going. I'm thinking I'm cool. And she comes home and she's like, "It smells like cigars in here." And I'm like,
Smells
"I don't know."
osium in here.
I'm like, "Oh, she hates that stuff too." And I'm like, "I don't know how
Obviously.
it's possible. I only smoke on the deck, blah, blah, blah." So
Get yourself a nice fan, baby.
I had
But
done the
still.
Stuttering John thing where I had built a lie and then
A lie upon a lie.
got totally busted on it. Hey, I invited our friend Dan from Nice Podcast Stupid, and I'm going to bring him in. And he's promised me he won't.
Okay.
He promised me he won't porn bomb me. I thought I would surprise you.
I don't think Dan's gonna porn bomb you.
No, I don't think so.
He's not
I
in
don't
a
think
wheelchair.
I don't think so either. And he's not caged for the rest of his life. And Will, if you'd like
That's right.
And Will, if you'd like a link and come on about 11, because Dan's got to go, that would be great.
11.
But
God, how long do you want to do this thing? Jesus Christ.
about an hour. Dan, welcome.
Well,
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for not bringing me in during the cocaine talk. That would have been a weird. Speaking of cocaine, let's bring Dan from Nice Podcast Stupid up.
I always like to get on with Dave for about 5 or 10 minutes and let me see where he's gonna go.
It's the world-class banter, dude.
So you either get,
I'm not against talking coke. We all have our stories from back in the day, but no, it's great to be on, Shmuel. I appreciate you having me on, Dave. Good to chat with you again. And how we doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Cool. Happy New Year to you too. Hey, so Dan, you were telling me, and we don't have to talk about this. I don't know if
you guys riff real quick. I'll be right back.
But you mentioned that they had demonetized you temporarily.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about it's like Google, YouTube, right? They have all the control in the world and no accountability. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. There's they have these terms of service, which I think some of us that have played around on YouTube kind of have an idea of what some of that is and some of the rules that go with it. Obviously, no porn bombing is definitely in the terms of service. And then just Anthony ran afoul of the gun thing this week. That was something that he got dinged for. But there are some much more arbitrary sort of things. It's very AI driven, as you can imagine, being a Google owned company. So there's not like 1,000 guys just watching every YouTube video. You couldn't do it, right? So it's all automated. It's a lot of AI stuff. So they'll pick up random things. This is the second time that I've gotten demonetized. Hopefully I'll get it back. And I'm very confident I will. But it's a very it's an annoying thing. I started getting memberships. Those all are gone now. Everything I had monetized is gone. So I have to redo that. Now, the good news is I have the subscribers. So that's not an issue. And then so for the next couple of weeks, I'll probably be doing, videos without being monetized, which is actually fine for me because I'm really, hopefully like you, kind of in it for the love of the game. It's not really about the super chats or about kind of all of that stuff. It's more of just an outlet for me, a hobby, an artistic kind of way to just get out there, share my opinions, do some observations. But definitely the thing that I've learned, and I guess I would, for anybody asking about YouTube and things like that, is just because you think you're making transformative content, just because you think things are fair use, just because you think you're not saying the wrong words that you shouldn't say or not offending the people that you shouldn't offend, you can still get popped and not have any idea what happened and not get a good answer. And then you appeal it. And I tried to appeal. I created a video last night, an appeal video. They say you have to do a video up to 5 minutes. They tell you what to put in it. And the good news is the appeal was quick. And it quickly told me, oh, you didn't suffice to what we were looking for to get your monetization back. So it's a fucking hassle. It's annoying. But if you want to play ball, this is really the place you got to do it. And I know you mentioned as well, Shmuel, I was reading something you said today about Kevin Brennan, you know, you paid $60,000 or whatever to YouTube to use the super chat system, but would you have gotten all that revenue anyway if you didn't have the engine of YouTube? So you kind of get what you're paying for.
Right. But look, terms of service, or YouTube's terms of service, should just say, the top of the thing should say arbitrary rules by which we'll enforce whenever we feel like it. Not that I could, but I haven't applied for monetization, and don't really. It's a hobby for me, so I don't really care. Guys and people, it's funny because you get into this, you know, the universe, and guys like KB. I was told, because Shuli had made more money than KB, right? TSN brought in more money than KB, and the first thing people say is, well, he doesn't have to pay anybody. But the reality is KB does pay people. Then I got from a lot of people, you'd be shocked at how much money, though, he gets through Venmo and PayPal and Zelle and those places. So, but even if you're not monetized on YouTube, I think you could still make money. But if you get banned from YouTube, you're screwed, because, you know, I follow Dixon on Rumble, and the Rumble, it just sucks. And everything. And like the
there's
Geno
benefits
thing.
and there's
Well, yeah, I mean, the benefit is you can say whatever you want. The problem is you're not saying it to anybody.
Well, I'm saying as a user, the benefit is like you can, without paying the premium subscription, you can listen to, let's say, MLC or Dixon's show with your phone turned off, versus like on YouTube, you can't do that unless you have a premium subscription. So, I mean, just
Yeah, I have the premium
but
subscription
there's
because
benefits and
because the deal was I didn't have it. I was watching stuff, and then all of a sudden there were commercials, and they're just randomly it's like, I don't know if you remember, I am old. AMC,
it's like the coins.
AMC used to be a movie channel, and it had no commercials, and then all of a sudden they just started commercials. And I was watching every October. I like to watch the old horror movies, you know, and I was watching like Dracula, and commercials would just randomly pop up, and you'd be like, but wait, that's the best part. And that's what that was with the thing with the Rumble. And so that's why I paid, you know, it was $9.95 and I paid for it.
You want to know something sleazy that I think Rumble does? And I haven't like confirmed this, but it seems like this is what happens. So on the app, if you're logged in, so if you go to the app and you go to video and you're logged in, it'll show you 2 ads in a row. If you go to the website and you're logged in, it'll show you at least 1 ad. But if you're not logged in, it doesn't show you an ad. It's fucking bullshit, dude.
They probably can't monetize that, right?
It's
like
bullshit,
they have a
probably.
demographic, they don't know who you are. And yeah, the commercials are nuts. I for some reason was watching Mersh. I didn't know much about him. I'd heard about him.
That's what we all say.
And I didn't really know who he was. So I started watching him, and he's fascinating in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And the worst
One
part
word,
about
it's one word to describe him. Yeah,
but his Rumble rant, I mean, I have
Gorillas
other
are
things to say, but
fascinating,
his Rumble rant about the ads and the bison meat or whatever it was, the part of it that was so bad was it was true. Like, he was essentially saying, like, oh yeah, somebody bought a bison farm, and so now we're going to put it on, you know, it's going to be in cat food. We're going to have it in vitamins, right? It'll be a hair growth treatment. And that shit is crazy. And I love the whenever an ad starts off with the things they don't want you to know, you know the ad is bullshit.
Buy silver coins, support the Trump administration, or, you know, it feels like those, like there's Fox News commercials, and I'm kind of a conservative guy myself, but I can laugh at some of that stuff. But it's even like more, it's like InfoWars type kind of commercial, just like complete, just insane stuff. Like you said, like hair tonics.
It's a 30-in-1 tool. It'll break your window, cook your steak, feed your children, discipline your dog.
I was getting my physical in December, and I'm in a doctor's office, and they had a couple of TVs, and somebody put Fox News on one, and I was sitting there for about 20 minutes, and every single commercial was either a drug pharma ad, or it was something for old people, you know, like a large button phone, the hurricane, you know. And I mean, I don't know how many ads you can see for those bathtubs where the door opens and you
The
can
med
step
alert
in.
button too, you know.
Yeah. First
Oh,
alert.
up.
But that's daytime TV universally, because MSNBC was also on, and their ads were just as bad, except they do get, you know, you will see the occasional car ad during the day, and that you don't, and insurance ads. I didn't really see them on the Fox thing. I don't watch a lot of TV, and a year ago we got YouTube TV. So I'm like all in on Google. They just take all my money. Got all in on Google, and
I'm
the
the
YouTube
same thing. I'm in the same boat. YouTube Premium, YouTube
Right.
TV, YouTube Studio for, the way I look at it, Shmuel, is one of these big conglomerates is going to get all my data. I might as well give it to just one of them. I might as well just pick one that's got the most stuff and just you guys have at it, you know. And I don't do Facebook. I don't do Instagram. So like I'm keeping it away from Zuckerberg, but I'm giving it to the Skynet at Alphabet, Google, YouTube. You know, they're the ones that have all my stuff. And Amazon,
where there's so much data that it would take a miracle for them to even find your data.
Melton has my data too.
Well, I was about to say, this is a good.
That's one of the things we wanted. I wanted to talk about that, but before we get into that,
yeah,
I was like, the one thing about YouTube TV that makes me nuts. My wife loves the show Below Deck. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's actually not bad. And so watching Below Deck, but when she records them, they play commercials, and when the commercial comes on, the sound is twice what the sound was.
Really, I hate that.
And it's like
they made that illegal at one point, didn't they?
Brutal. Well, I don't think you can do it over the air.
I know that
on a cable channel, they can do pretty much whatever they want.
That happens to me too. My wife gets mad. She's like, he screams at me like, "Why is it so loud?" And I'm like, "Honey, I didn't turn it up. Like that's it just came on that way, you know."
Yeah.
And
I'm always going up and down the volume, going back and forth. It's crazy.
And the TV has a setting that's supposed to minimize that,
right?
And it will work on like network TV or over-the-air TV, but it doesn't seem to work on YouTube at all.
Yeah. Also, what that does though, what that fucking stupid feature does, if you have maybe an older TV, it was worse. Maybe the technology is better, but I remember a TV that I had did that, and what it would do is anytime the volume got low too, it would completely like shut down the sound. So it wouldn't let you like anything under 10 volume would essentially not work because the volume kept going loud and then dimming down, and the feature was terrible. But anyway, that is a good segue into the super Tipgate.
Dave, you want to see if you can pull up the while we're talking? Could you pull it? Do you want to pull up the Chad? If you can, there's a Chad thing, or I think I might have it where. Cardiff Electric explains the super tip doxing controversy. But I don't know whether we need to see it, but I'll put it up for a second. We only have Dan until
I could stick around for a little bit. I was just sort of goofing a little. I could stay for a little bit after.
You were like, if this really sucks and it's really bad, I have my out. I'm not stupid.
I could do the Irish goodbye if it wasn't going well.
Don't worry, you can come in and out, pop in. Don't worry about it.
And I got
you know what? Let me pull up that video one more time. Shmuel accidentally removed it.
I got this one, and I got we've Will coming on in a bit too. I know that Will said that it seems that every show that he's on, they bring in Dave Sarah. So I thought I would bring Will into you.
The Doom clips, it's from the perspective of Doom.
Oh, by the way, Doom is the guy that I do payola for, Shmuel. Remember?
Say that again?
Doom is the guy I paid. He's the one that clipped me that one time.
Right.
You pay.
Doom and I have a little payola thing going on. So I sent him a little money for the holidays, put a little something in his stocking, and hopefully he'll clip me a couple times.
Right. Well, we all do that. But also after that joke I made or whatever. Like, I did find out that like Melton actually does pay him to like make videos or something for him. Doesn't he actually pay him? Or unless Melton's being facetious.
Doom, let me just first disclose, I am friendly with Doom. You know,
Sure.
I DM with
Me
him,
too.
and I do have a relationship, and I do, you know, there is. I mean, we were kind of joking,
He's a
but there
Spurg.
is
He's
a
a
little bit of
fellow Spurg. Sorry, I didn't mean to
fellow
talk over you.
yeah, fellow Spurg. No, yeah, fellow Spurg, but also, you know, we'll sometimes if I see something, I'll say something. Like there's been a time where I'm watching something, I'm like, and I will either, I don't want to give away all my trade secrets, but I trust Doom to get it right. So like if something really good happens, sometimes I'll ping him and let him know. And yeah, maybe that curries a little bit of favor, but it's more of just like, hey, I want it documented the right way. I trust him. And there's like 2 or 3 people that I do that, not just Doom, you know.
Yeah. Doom,
Joe
Stalin,
there's
Fallon,
nothing
Franklin
there's,
Scheckler, we know.
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we're in the bit. We want to be seen. If we
We're in
didn't
the
want to be
business.
seen,
You
we
were about
wouldn't
to
be
say it.
doing these shows, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the same thing with, you know, when people made a big deal about Ray sending out the texts, "I'm going live." I'm like, well,
He's
of
just a
course,
boomer.
it's not a horrible idea. Well, it
Okay.
you know, it
Doom
works,
wants NLO
and
clips. Okay.
we have a very sensitive spot here for boomers. So can we, you know, don't be too hard on us. Let me
And Doom,
let's
yeah,
get this-
Doom is very closely aligned. I think Crumb just said he does NLO clips.
clips,
You could see Doom is definitely sympathetic to Melton, which is fine. And I don't like, I'm kind of like, I goof, even like the KB thing, like that's kind of, there's a little bit of a goof there. I mean,
Yeah,
I
who
think you
cares?
probably
It's
picked up on
fine.
that. I'm just fucking around. I mean, it's like wrestling, you know, you just kind of
Yes.
do a kind of promo and you just, you know, you go off on it, and
I
it's
know.
it's
And-
really, it's not anything like personal or serious.
I
It's
know.
not something like, oh, Dan said he'd never. It's like, yeah, it was a kind of a goof. You know, I
And, like-
wasn't totally serious about everything I said. Although
And,
there's always to be a little bit of truth to it, or else people don't buy it. But you want to, you know,
Yeah,
there's a little bit of a
of
hype
course.
thing to like kind of.
No. You could be truthful with your jabs and stuff like that, but then also too, it's like same thing with Ray, Chad, fucking Stevie Lou. Like these people, they'll say they have no problem saying the most horrific things to me and me laughing about them. But the moment you start jabbing back at them, they for whatever reason can't take it, and then they start thinking that I hate them because I'm making fun of them, and I'm like, I don't hate you. Just play along. It's fine. I'm punching at you. I want you to punch back at me. I mean, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm in the Ray DMs too. I get the, you know, I'm going live if you're into it, punks. I don't know if you.
Yeah,
you probably get those too, right?
Well, yeah, we get them. But I had told Dave, and I talked about this story before, but I'll just say it. I was out in the west. We were going through Zion and Bryce Canyon and all that, and I get a text from Ray that says, going live at a certain time if you're into it, thinking that, oh, Ray wanted me on the show because I'd been on the show a bunch of times.
Happened to me too. And then he's like, you're begging for the link when I got on there, and I was like, dude, what are you talking about? I thought you were asking me to come on, and I think we in that Nasty Neil thing, I think the same thing happened to him recently where he's like, oh yeah, I'm coming, I'll come right on, like and not realizing that like you're on the mailing list now,
right?
You're into
exactly
at the railing list.
And I'm like, I'm like the old guy with the laptop trying to find a Wi-Fi signal, and
fucking idiot.
Ray's a unique guy. All right, let me get back to Cardiff here.
Tass at Ron Fuddle, and she super chatted me anonymously, but using her name though. Actually,
Ron
she probably
Fuddle.
didn't think I had access to that information, but.
Didn't think I had access to that information. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure everyone supports Patrick Melton's super tip system. You're going to want to give them all the information. Great, good idea, Pat. Great.
Chad has no idea how this works, right?
No, he doesn't know how it works. He's never worked for a corporation. He doesn't understand, first of all, that you, me, the potato, we're normal people. We've worked normal corporate jobs. We have people's personal information all the time. Do we dangle it over people's heads? Are we liable for that if we steal it and use it to our advantage? That's illegal. Just because Pat's a piece of shit doesn't mean that the super tip system is faulty. Now, I know.
Hey,
6 months ago,
I'm defending
Hold on.
Pat's not
Hold
a
on.
piece
That's fine.
of
You
shit.
could
Pat's a
you
good
could
guy.
defend
Go
me.
ahead.
That's fine. Okay. I'm saying using this information to dangle it over somebody's head. That's kind of a piece of shit move. Whatever. My point is that, like, sure, 6 months ago, when I was making these same jokes on BYB about, oh, don't give your information to Melton, Ian Hawk will have it. Literally 6 months later, Chad is making the same joke. And we come back to the same thing, that he's an unoriginal, stupid fucking hack. And I know you guys are kind of friendly with each other, Dan, but I mean, I can't take it with this guy anymore. He's a phony. So, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a Chad fan. I was laughing because I was talking. I had Joey C on last night for a little bit after. It was like the after show, and I guess OJ and Deadfool are going down to Florida, and the three of them are going to go over and watch Chad.
Isn't that David Chandler
in Cape Coral? And I'm not doxing anyone, Dave.
Or
anyway,
Dave Daffler. Isn't it one of them though?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're going to go to Cape Coral, and Joey's like, you should come with us. And I said, I've seen Chad live once, and that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just like Bob Levy.
I'm not a fan of Chad. Yeah, I could shit on Bob too. I had intended to do all that last night, but I got my guest who was going to do the little best and worst of the Dabbleverse bailed on me at the last minute. And
can we name names on who bailed on you?
No,
I guess that was probably me.
No, I would no. It wasn't you. I was you. I was hoping you would come on, but
yeah,
like I didn't tell you tonight that I
Yeah.
had Dan on.
Right.
I kind of like to surprise Dave. I was going to surprise him with somebody else, but you couldn't come on anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So let's get back to this.
Yeah, real quick though.
Idea.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I laughed my ass off when I saw Mr. Blue Sky in chat go, Ray doesn't even know who you are, Deitois. But then yes, also most live comedies dog shit, Crumb. And that's kind of true. Whatever. I mean, it's all subjective, obviously, right? But like, I do think that live podcasts are kind of on a uptick. And I've been saying that for a long time too. And Chad's just like, all right, let's do live podcasts now because Legion is skanks and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's just.
Well, I think podcasting and streaming, or like YouTube, whatever you want to call it. I think that's kind of helped put the death knell in stand up generally. I'm not saying it's not. I'm going to say it's dead, but like a lot of these guys are so overexposed. You hear the jokes. Part of the fun
you hear
of
the inception of the joke.
Yeah. I think we know how the sausage is made a little bit more now.
Too much, maybe.
And there was sort of a mystery. It was almost like a magic trick comedy, like of seeing like a Sam Kinison or a Dice and just thinking like they're off the cuff, or it feels like it's off the cuff. It's the first time I've seen this or heard this, and like, where's he coming up? And this is like, it's all new to me, and but we're so overexposed. We've heard everything. It's all been done before. It feels like, and then you also kind of see like, I'll give an example, like a Louis J. Gomez. I like Louis J. Gomez. I think he's a funny guy. He seems like a decent dude, but
open micer.
But he's an open mic, and he does a
30 minutes of open mic material, which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine if you just saw him then. But he's on you can't like go on YouTube or podcast world without bumping into him. The Rogan people, they're all overexposed, so it's like there's no magic there anymore. There's no surprise. It's all you know what you're getting. If you're and maybe it's because I'm too online, so I see it and hear it all. But
that's part of it too, obviously. But we all are.
Yeah.
I like live comedy, and I
do too. No, I love it.
I'm lucky enough that I live near Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club, and a lot of people go there to work shit out, and you get to see some decent names. But I do think that I don't think YouTube was the death knell of live comedy. I think the death knell of live comedy is when these people stop being themselves, stop trying to be funny, and started to preach a message in their comedy. I'm not there for that. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like I used to love talking about how
We lost your sound, Dave. There you go. You're back.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay, like you can, like if you go back and listen to old Opie and Anthony episodes, and you hear Louis talk about, you can hear him almost making jokes up that don't end up on specials for years later, almost. And it's like that's the kind of thing. And like somebody like Louis really right now isn't as exposed in the game like all these other podcasters are. He's kind of not really done that in years and years. But I guess maybe at the time it was interesting, but it has changed a lot. It does feel like now everything is that instead of that was a cool thing when you realized it because it was like a one-time thing. You hear Opie and Anthony, and you're like, oh shit, that's where Louis got that bit from. But now it's like, oh, I mean, it's all connected.
Right. And I get Louis used to drive me crazy on Opie and Anthony because he used to talk about marriage and how you do a marriage and his marriage counseling and all this other just on and on and on and oh, you don't understand and everything else. And then I find out he's getting divorced. And I'm like, I can't believe I sat and listened to this asshole. Not that I believed him, but it's still. But part of the death knell to me, Dan, jump in whenever you want. Part of the death knell to me is so this woke comedy thing I found boring and I found it tedious. And I also find the uber right wing comedy boring.
Well, the super edgy, like edgelord. I'm kind of like guilty of doing this sometimes, just like shocking for the sake of being shocking. But you want to well-crafted dick jokes is what you want. Come on.
It's very much a horseshoe sort of thing too, with like the woke and the overly, edgelord stuff. I gotta punch up. I can't punch down. I can't make fun of people that are below me on whatever this social strata is that I think it is. Like I can't talk about races or sexuality or whatever. It's like the whole thing with comedy is there's really not supposed to be many sacred cows or any sacred cows for that matter. Like everything's supposed to be on the table. And if you start taking things off the table and you're trying to be like preachy about it, that's not really what comedy is about. But on the other side, if you're just, being gross and talking about effing kids and things like just to get people totally
holders.
You want to be shocking.
You want to be shocking. And that's okay if you sprinkle it in, but if everything is a bucket of AIDS joke, to steal a Norton line, then it gets a little bit like you just go to the well too much, and then it loses all its meaning because there's nothing shocking anymore because you've said it and done it all, and you just keep going to that well, and which is not.
I saw
not the way to do
Berg last summer. He was at resorts in Atlantic City, and
doing well looks like
it was a predominantly black audience, or at least it was 50-50, and it didn't stop him a bit. Right? He went with his stuff, but he doesn't need to say the N-word. He doesn't need to he was making jokes. I was sitting there going, oh, I should feel uncomfortable. Like, I was like, oh, wow. Because I just like, oh, this is crazy. Anyway, I got in the elevator after that was all over to go back downstairs, and I was with all these people. They loved him. They thought the black people that were there thought he was one of the funniest people they had ever seen.
And then they're like, hey, he's got this podcast called In Hot Water. Let's check it out.
Yeah, luckily In Hot...
who this motherfucking Gino Bisconti?
But I think that they would have laughed at some of that stuff. I mean, seeing Aaron as Colin Kaepernick is hilarious, right? But Aaron always had a good sense he wasn't evil about it. He had a good sense of humor about it. And I think that's where Gino got lost, because Gino started to get preachy about stuff, and Aaron just wasn't into that. And you got to tone it down. You can't do that all the time, right? Like, you can do a Colin Kaepernick thing once, but you can't show up with that every single day. Then it just becomes a minstrel show.
The other thing about, if we're talking Gino, I frankly don't think he's all that talented, to be honest.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna get to Gino in a second. Let's finish this clip and get back on track here. This is crazy.
We've got Gino, so let's.
Gino queued up. Don't worry. We're gonna
finish with
Gino
data and credit cards, and then we'll move into some Gino.
Okay.
You're gonna want to super chat these shows with.
And that's right. By this time next week,
you'll be able to give me all your information with super tips as well. I should have it set up by next week because I'm a loser. I should have had it set up today, actually, but I fucked something up. But yeah, soon I will be able to steal all your information with the super tip system. And I will actually explain what Chad thinks the news he's breaking here.
Melton super tips. Great fucking idea.
I'm going to go up to like 1.25 just to move it along a little bit, if you guys don't mind. And I don't really care if you do, because I got the button.
Yeah.
You can't use
Sounds
your
good.
card unless it matches with the zip code. That's a fact. So the zip code is not trying to dox her or anything. I mean, it's just the name of a town.
I'm not trying to dox her, but I'm going to go ahead and dox her because I have all her information in the town she's from, where she lives.
To be fair,
But I'm not going to dox her. I'm just going to tell
she's
you
not doxing
the
her.
aliases she may or may not have used from a zip code.
Is that
may or may not
doxing?
be hers. With
I
the
don't
super
know.
tip system where we
No,
have all
not
their
doxing.
information.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Use super tips, guys. Make sure you super tip those.
It's crummy.
Good idea.
I'm going to consider that doxing. Anybody else sends an anonymous thing, I have no interest in figuring out who you are, looking to see who you are, or anything.
Oh, really?
Which as it turns out, were very easy to see who it was. So
Very easy to see who it was.
Mhm.
So that means Tukey can see who's super tipping them. The potato.
No.
Pat.
See, that's a lie. I don't have super tips yet. Next week, I'll be able to see who's super tipping next week. And it better be you. All of you. I'm talking to you. And you. And you. And you. You better super tip me next week. Chad, you dumb fuck. I haven't adopted the super tip system just yet. I wanted to especially you, Smuggle Cakes. Especially you. I expect double from you. The super tip system, the way it works, essentially, the transaction, the financial the financial transaction happens directly between the creator and the person sending the super tip. They are essentially, now this is why I would never suggest Chad be involved in the super tip system, because there's credit cards involved. And Chad, we all know what Chad likes to do with credit cards. But it's not like the super tip system gives you, there is actually a secure organization, third-party organization that I had to sign up for to be able to process super tip payments with someone's credit card. I could send you a QR code right now. I could put it up on the screen right now. I could get a QR code from this system, and you could scan that QR code, and you could send me money through your credit card. You could put your credit card in, send me $100, $50, $300, whatever. You could send me whatever you wanted on your credit card. That third-party system, that secure third-party system, sends me a limited bit of information on the transaction. That's it. They don't send us names and addresses and all this shit. I think you do get name and zip code, possibly. It's not a fucking, and it's only shared with the creator that you're sending it to, people that you're sending money to. This is a third-party e-commerce system that is normally used for people who are buying something from a website. When you scan those little white square things at a fucking flea market, where you probably buy most of your sunglasses, Chad, they get the same information that anyone using a super tip system would get. So don't start acting like Melton is out there.
We just stop for a second. So when you do the super tip and you choose the anonymous option, it's not truly anonymous. So it's a little bit of a I think there, once again, this is another how the sausage is made situation. I think a lot of people don't realize that and the problem is Pat Dixon weaponized it. And he basically pulled the kimono, opened it up for everybody to see that if you say, now let me give an example. Let's say you send something nasty to Melton. You make fun of his hunchback or something. And then, now he knows your name, your zip code, and your credit card information. There was an example.
Not real.
Hold on, we'll get. Hold on.
No.
We'll get to it now.
I'll explain. I know.
We're gonna get it.
Because one example, because supposedly somebody's credit card got rejected with the last name Catalano, and Melton or whoever went on and Joey C's credit cards are all not going through. It just proved on the Hackamania or whatever site that he did or whatever. So people are
Hackamania definitely.
Well, Hackamania is not. I don't. Hackamania is not.
Maybe that's not a good. Maybe that's a different.
Hackamania is not super tips, but I'm gonna say this: if you think you're not being anonymous to the creator, you're being anonymous to the audience. It's just like YouTube, right? When you go to YouTube and you put you want to type a comment, you have to have an account. So if you want to be anonymous, you've got to set up another account. Right?
Yeah.
You would have to do this. You would have to do the same thing there. Now, what the information that Dixon got is the information. Dixon is considered a merchant, right?
Yeah.
Not Super Tip System, but Dixon. Dixon's considered a merchant. Every merchant that takes credit cards can get the same information. There's no such thing as an anonymous credit card transaction.
No, we understand that. I don't think that. I understand what Dan is saying, and I understand that when you go to supertip.gg and you click anonymous, I understand that you are anonymous to the audience, but it does give this sort of veiled idea that you're also anonymous to maybe the creator as well. Now, again, I don't think Melton is particularly, or any of these guys really particularly, are going to do anything nefarious with whatever information that they get. It is a little different than your everyday transaction, let's say, because I work for a company, I work for a corporation. Again, I get sensitive material. I'm also not getting that money directly from my audience, and you know what I mean? Like, people's, like, Melton's character could come into play because now people know that they potentially have his information. Now, I'm sure the website is not like key logging credit cards and all that stuff. It's extremely illegal if it is. I don't think they're doing any of that stuff. But maybe, I mean, it may not even be particularly legal. I don't even know. Regardless of all that, I just think that this kind of stuff, like you're getting Patreon. Patreon kind of gives the same information. I think the Potato says that too. Like, I feel like Dixon did this in a shitty way, and it's not cool. But I also feel like you should have a way to curate your own audience and community. And if that means looking through the fucking zip codes and seeing who's super chatting you, and I mean, I don't like it, but it doesn't strike me as something that's unethical all that much. I don't know.
Yeah,
or immoral. I don't really know.
So what I would just say is, and I
Unethical,
agree with both of what you're saying, but I just come at it from a different perspective.
Sure.
I think all of us know how credit card transactions and sort of this go, but I don't know necessarily the average person who's doing a $5 super chat realizes that, hey, if I say something and I think it's anonymous and it's kind of nasty or whatever, it can be exposed that I said it, that my name and potentially my name and my zip code, and Pat Dixon, like him or hate him.
But that's not what happened here. But go ahead.
But let me just finish with my point.
Yeah, go ahead.
He did everybody a favor, because now it's on you, the super chatter, to figure out if you're okay with that, because now everybody knows what is at stake here. So if you are worried about somebody, a creator having potentially your zip code and or name, and you think that could be used against you or whatever, then you have to decide, do I want to use it? Now, I think it's a good service. I've done myriad super tips. I did one yesterday. It's like, so I've used it and I'm actually comfortable with it. So I'm not a detractor necessarily about it. So but what I'm saying is, now people know that information is not, there's not an arm's length aspect to that information. That information, at least the basic, the credit card of, the processing thing, is readily available. And these creators, we're in a world where people are kind of vindictive and assholes, and they'll use that. So now you know that. So now there's no surprises. I don't think it's necessarily unscrupulous or illegal or anything like that they're doing, but it is what it is. And now you have to decide if you're comfortable with that situation.
And I know you want to get into this right now, Buckman. I just want to say one thing real quick, which is,
you're good.
I think that some of the issue too is that when most of us have done super chats, we've done stream elements, We've done the other one, Stream
Labs?
Streamlabs. Like these services don't really give you all that information when people super chat you or like send you money. Like so like when somebody on Stream Elements sends me money, like I'm pretty sure like whatever their they can pretty much display, unless it's coming through their PayPal maybe, then you can look up their PayPal name. But I think typically it could just be like legit anonymous. And so I think with those systems, I think people are used to that. So when they do the super tip, they just assume that's what it is.
Yeah,
and again, most of NLO's fans kind of are in this game also. So I think they figure out that you can make a Venmo account, corporation, you can build your Venmo through a corporation, and they give you a card and you can use the card. There's all kinds of ways to get around it. And a lot of these people already do that. So, but you do have to consider it, I guess, if you're super tipping. What are you saying, Buckman?
I know. The being a boomer thing is tiresome. But in any event, yeah, the big difference is that, Google is taking 30 or 40%, right? So you're not getting paid by Stripe or Simply Easier Payments or any one of these credit card processors. You're getting paid by Google. So that's they're the processor. They have the information. To think they don't have it and they couldn't weaponize it is insane.
No.
But when it comes to what happened here was somebody was using a fake name. They weren't using anonymous. And they were super chatting crazy stuff. And at the same time, this person was also saying that she was super chatting. And the information you get on the credit card, I use them. I'm a merchant and I know how to, what you do is you request a list. And basically you get a list of the last 4 digits, the last name, and the zip code. And they encourage you to do that because it's a way to avoid fraud. But what this genius did was put in a fake name, Shmuel Buckman, fake, for that part, and then put in their credit card information, and then put their Dave Sarah, 112 El Paso Lane, Los Angeles, California. And
don't give my address out.
Right. And this person who's we're not talking about a stable person that did this to this guy. And
there aren't a lot of stable people in this little shitverse.
I agree with you there. But, if you think you might wind up, laying by the train tracks someday because of them, I could see looking it up. Do I think it was done well? Do I think Pat should have said what he said? No. Do I think that people should have known that their credit card information is going to be available to the merchants? Yes. And I agree with you, Dan. I don't think that they understood the big difference between super tips and the other methods are the companies are paying you. So Google's paying you. In this case, it's where Streamlabs is paying. Stripe is paying you. And so when I do a super chat, I see on my credit card statement Google. When I send Pat a super tip, I see on my credit card statement Pat Dixon.
Yeah.
So I got to expect that he's got the money. I am going to bring in Will Heron.
All right.
And Will, before you jump in, I just want to say, I don't want this to become like BYB where we got 4 people yelling and screaming.
No, I'm going to go have a cigarette first too. So go ahead.
Stuff. So, there we go.
That's what I wanted though. I was kind of excited.
We want to be polite and we want to let people.
I don't like that.
And people, well.
What's up, Dan?
What's up, Will? How them Raging Cajuns doing?
Got their tails beat off in the bowl game by TCU, but the portal did what the portal does to everybody. Then our basketball coach gets fired after winning the first conference game. So now we're down to like an assistant trying to start the team off, even though they were terrible to begin with. Portal again ate up the Raging Cajun basketball team. So now we're waiting on softball and baseball to start.
Who's wait, Raging Cajuns is what school?
University of Louisiana, UL.
Okay.
We're like down the block from LSU, like 45 miles away from Baton Rouge.
I have in New York, they have Mississippi Day in Central Park, and you get a lot of Mississippi State people, and they have an LSU thing that goes on every summer up here. And yeah.
We're like the LSU little brothers, and like they always beat us. They're a little bit kind of more prestigious, but like we always give them a good fight kind of thing. And so like we're like the underdogs. And it's cool. Like I went to a national championship tournament with them like 2 years ago and the basketball team and stuff like that. But like the way money is now, I wasn't able to go with them to New Mexico for the bowl game. So that kind of, sucked. But you didn't bring me out here to talk about sports ball, right?
Well, we could do it. Would be like the Ray DeVito show.
Well, talk about baseball cards.
We're gonna break baseball card packs, and we're gonna go through. We're gonna try to find a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card today.
We're gonna.
So Dan, you're talking about like YouTube putting their P in your V. They got me too, man. Like I haven't told a lot of people. I kind of kept on a download too, but like they got me 90 days. How about you?
That's what I have. Yep. Demonetized.
Yeah.
What did you do, Will?
So your boy Luigi Mangione.
Yeah.
So like he had a video on his YouTube channel that he uploaded the day he went out the day he was about to get caught. And it was like a ticking clock that had a ticking clock that went down after like a minute. And it was just like a black screen, almost like the StreamYard intro and stuff like that. Just like a clock, black screen. And it's like the truth will set you free and more will come out later. But like just like 2 sentences, black screen, ticking clock, 1 minute and 30 seconds. YouTube said that I was like glorifying a criminal. And so they were like, yeah, there goes 90 days. And like,
it's very arbitrary.
I'm so stupid. This is how dumb I am. I was like, oh my God, I'll just delete the video and just take the course and maybe they'll forgive me. If I would have left the video up, I could have then appealed the community. It's not a strike. The community monetization.
Community guidelines.
The same thing happened to me. My appeal failed. So now I'm my 90 day. Now I'm on my 90
I didn't get to appeal. I deleted the video.
Yeah,
so
you can't. Yeah, they say don't delete anything if you want to appeal.
Once stupid.
You delete something, then the appeal goes out, and then you got to do the class. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like getting a fucking DUI. That's the way they treat you. Like you got to go through the fucking class to go to the terms of service and apologize and go to counseling, and then they'll
whatever. But 90 days? Come on.
And you can't even prostrate yourself before them,
No.
You lay up on the altar and let me self-flagellate for a while. You can't do that either. And by the way, in America, Luigi is not a criminal until he's convicted.
That's right.
I agree. That was my point as well. And on top of that, I'm a journalist. I'm literally like registered with the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters. Like I am a journalist. I don't know why I can't upload that. Right? It's history, is what it was. And if we get accused if he's a criminal, we'll take it down. Fine. Like
Will Aaron, you got that shit stink of the Dabbleverse all over you, man. They took away your journalism, dude. Now you're in the mud with the rest of us.
Yep.
Hey, I have a question. Have you guys ever done that? Like I got on this channel, on my channel, I got a strike a year ago. It was on an election fraud thing, like from 2 years ago. And I never did anything with it, but then they made me take a test, like a disinformation test, dude. It was wild. I should have recorded it. It was fucking wild. Like
10 questions?
It was like 10 questions, and they put you in these scenarios about like where the information comes from and how you should filter it and shit. It's very dystopian shit, man.
Oh yeah. Everything about Google, YouTube is very dystopian.
I failed
so
it.
Much.
Well, I did.
The part that we tend to forget as Americans, right? We think we're the top and we're everything, and we are in a sense. But the reality is Google is in the rest of the world. That's where they see their growth. They see their growth in China. They see their growth in Europe, Africa, Asia. Every one of those places, speech is controlled. This is the only place that it's not. So they're not going to get a lot of pushback from America because the corporations they're all in on this disinformation stuff. And you know, it turned out, look, the disinformation of yesterday turned out to be today's facts. But yeah,
Well, look, all you got to do is look at Google search. Google search is so astroturfed, it's fucking insane. They control what they want to show. The algorithm is not like organic. It's not based off of a meritocracy of the information that people want to have. It's what they want to show you and who pays to be shown.
right.
And that's all it's about. It's a pay
paid
to
is
play
the most important
situation.
part.
Yeah, it's all pay
if
to play.
If you had if you had 1 million followers, you could probably say whatever the hell you wanted to say, and they wouldn't bother you. But it's,
like, I can understand if there was cursing or there was violence or explosions or something like that. And just like Dan said, the dude wasn't convicted. Like, I mean, technically, he still is not convicted. I'm not saying he did or did not do it, whatever. But like, it hasn't even gone to the court system yet. Like, give me like, and something I would have taken it down. I don't freaking care. It was just. I thought it was important. I thought it was something cool. I didn't even know it was taken down by YouTube until later. Like, I wasn't trying to skirt the system either. It just like I popped it up because I'm a clipper. I did what I normally do for something like that. That I thought.
Hey, I'm a clipper too.
You know what I'm saying, Dave? Wouldn't you have done it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's picking up what I'm laying down.
My best
Yeah,
friend's
fuck yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, part of the YouTube thing
time, you know,
with what's going on with the TOS and the community guidelines stuff, it seems to me like they're trying to put the fear of the Lord into everybody. They're making you comply with their thoughts, whether or not you want to. And they're going to scare you so much. And if you get caught up in, that's why I think Super Tips is so great. If you get caught up into this monetization thing with them, you're going to your shows are not going to be your opinion. They're not going to be your truth. They're going to be what you think will keep the monetization coming.
you have to sanitize yourself. And now that I've gotten demonetized twice, now I have to desanitize myself even more. I have to make sure I have to be ultra careful about what I post, and it's transformative. It's fair use. Nobody's showing a butthole, and nobody's saying certain words or certain classes of people or certain cultures. It's all a minefield, and it's only a matter of time until you get fucking dinged, you know. And you just
Decoder rings. We're gonna all have to go to fucking decoder rings. We're gonna have to, just like history hyenas. You have to, like, they got demonetized so many times they had to like basically come up with all these, terms. Like a $3 bill means you're gay, or an FF means you're a full fae. Newport, exactly. You got to do Shuli. You got to do all that. Everybody's gonna have their own decoder ring. You're gonna send away with your points. Then you're gonna get a package, and Pat Dixon's gonna dox you. And
it's like
it is funny to come up with your own language and come up with like it makes it a whole like culture thing. So there is something funny to say about that. To like,
I agree.
Create this whole language that only your insiders in your community start to like pick up on, and then it becomes like part of a culture.
Yeah, B. Look at Fighter and the Kid, B.
We call that. We have a language for that. We call that Yiddish. That's exactly what Yiddish was designed for. It was the
when you say
communication
we
among the people,
right,
that they kept within the community, and so that's how they would talk with each other. And you would avoid the authorities knowing what you meant. And it was like, it's stupid. It doesn't matter. And that's where they came up. And that's why but that's why I love some of the Yiddish terms are just so great. Where they did like a big maca, and you would have no idea what they were talking about. A shmuel.
You are a mensch of all mensches.
It's not even Jewish.
I know, but he's got the Jewish name. He's got all the Jewish, but he's an Irish guy.
Nobody. I have never answered the Jewish question.
Okay.
And I will not, because it shouldn't matter.
Okay.
And the other thing is,
doesn't matter
in America.
If I was Jewish, I'd be screaming from the rooftops, so I get a better job out of it, or get some money.
We have. You think so, but it's not really. Look at what's happened, and look at all the shit that Shuli gets. Do you think that has not transferred into corporate America?
Look, 90% of what the shit that Shuli gets on the internet is from KB. So I don't know.
Nah, if you look at the Reddit thing, he's always been hated. But every time
That's
I
fine.
come on here, so the other main insult that I get is Jewish stuff constantly, you know. And on Twitter, if I put something up that is, you know, I'm an old school lefty, right, which now means I'm a conservative. So if I put something up, I will get like, well, you Zionist pig, that's why you believe that, you know, or you of all people should know how bad it is. It's, you know, it's quite amazing. But
Israel, more like is fake. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so we were
Kumia.
We were only going to do that for a little bit. So, but now, so I want to go into our next topic, which is being stupid. Speaking of, I was thinking of the YouTube stuff and whatnot. And the being stupid. And, you know, that was our buddy Gino in losing his YouTube channel, right? You're fighting.
Don't make it easy
do.
for them. Don't make it easy for them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it was also
put
like
his head on the tee and they just
like, what the hell did you expect, right? And I'm not feeling sorry for you. The guy that I feel sorry for is the guy that, you know, accidentally puts up a Luigi Mangione clip thinking it's news and gets bounced. Not
Dan,
a guy
too.
Who
I mean,
to scream
come
the
on.
N-word.
you and
Gosh.
Dan.
Thank you. Yeah. Gino was playing with fire. He knew he had 2 strikes. As someone who's been through this, so I know I've been through the ringer on everything that you can do on YouTube. So I know like all the fucking games. Once you get a strike, they take you away for like a week or 2 or whatever it is. Then you get 2 strikes, and then it's a real deal Holyfield, because you get the 3rd strike and you're gone. So
but the strikes they have to be consecutive, right?
Yes, but you have to wait for them to expire. But
right.
I took like a vacation from YouTube when I had 2 strikes, because I did get 2 strikes at one point, and they said, okay, well, if you get a 3rd strike before, I think it was like a 60-day window or something, then your whole channel's nuked forever. So you know what I did? I took a 60-day break from YouTube. I'm like, it's not worth it to blow up my channel, because once again, you don't know what stupid thing is going to happen, especially with the knuckleheads that watch these shows. Somebody puts the N-word or something in the chat and they flag it, or, you know, who knows what happens. And then you lose your channel on some technicality. It's not worth it. So you go away. You just go away and do your Rumble, or set up your Patreon, or go on other shows, or do something else. Or I don't know, you know, find another hobby to do for 60 days. But
Yeah.
he played with fire. And then he not just played with fire, he was being stupid about it. He was being reckless. He was reposting things that he knew had questionable content on it. He's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking dumb idiot. He deserved to lose it. I don't feel bad for him. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's untalented. I think he's an asshole. I think he got lucky. I think he tugged on Superman's cape. I think he's doubling down this week. He's just digging a bigger hole, and I don't feel bad for him. Go get a real job, Gino. Home Depot is hiring. The Amazon warehouse is hiring. UPS is hiring. Go get a real job. Put some, you know, you're married now. It's time to support your family. The career's not going to, you're in your 50s. You're in your mid 50s. If it hasn't happened yet, it's never going to happen. It's over, Gino. Take the L. Go get a real job, and let's fucking move on with ourselves.
Yeah.
The sad part about Gino is that he did have a career, right? And he was at one point making this. He probably would have been decent on a sports
making 2 salaries at one point.
Yes, and he thought he was smarter than he is, and he thought he was better than he was, and he thought that he was more talented than he was, and it's like, no, it's not the way the world works.
Okay, look, too,
You know?
but I mean, you know, KB posted his numbers today, and I was telling Shmuel earlier today, I would kill for that audience. I mean, $1,500 a month on Patreon, that's $1,000 more than I thought he was making a month. I swear to God, I thought he was literally making $500 a month doing 4 shows, maybe.
So it's like people subscribe and then forget about the subscription and just keeps drawing out their account kind of thing? Or do you think people love Gino and they just want to be about it? Like, really? Think about that.
I mean, it's like over 100 paid subscribers, so.
Yeah, well,
like
his
Chrissy
brother
with
is
100,000
50 of them, right?
I mean, okay, but okay, with the Gino thing though too.
Oh, Dan left.
I think he must have left. Also, we
Okay.
should set up your thing in a way to where when we turn the camera off, the square goes away as well. But anyway,
It did go away.
no, but he left the server. Like if I turn my
Oh.
camera off, you can set it so that the box goes away. Sorry,
Yeah, we want. I like it there because then we know that you're still with us.
I got you.
What's
Okay.
up, Derek? Sorry.
Yeah. What up, Derek? Yeah, with Gino. So did we ever get to the bottom of the double payment thing, or has he denied it? Did he talk about it yet?
I didn't see the end of it. Did Kumia answer it?
He has talked about it. Kumia did
Let me see
not
if I can
say
find
that.
it.
Kumia did not say that Gino got double. What he
I
did
know
say was,
MLI has it.
the budget stayed the same.
Same.
I have MLI. I'm going to put it up in a second.
Got it.
That's right. And Gino freaked out.
I have Gino's response to it, but the budget stayed the same. So I am going to bet that Gino got a raise, but he didn't get twice.
Right. He didn't get the full amount that was that guy's salary.
But
Right,
who's
because-
Like a 10 or 20%.
Because they had to fit within the budget. So he did not realize what was going on. Like he thought, oh, I got a raise because I'm doing well and I'm alone and he's got to, he's going to give me a bump up. I don't think he realized that he was getting Aaron's money.
But
Go ahead.
who managed that money? I'm curious.
Did I keep the cop or something like that?
Is it? But like usually like a producer or somebody manages them. Like the budget goes to who? Gino?
That would be
And he
E-Rock,
gets-
right?
Yeah, who runs the
Yes. Imagine E-Rock. We find out E-Rock was pocketing all of it.
Well, they should have an office manager, right? That's putting together like the budget and things like that, and then writes the check at the end of the week. And then I assume the boss goes over the numbers and says, yes, that's correct. And then they sign the check. I mean, that's how businesses usually work, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But
And-
like project managers usually know what their budget is.
Right, but every week you got to pay the guys. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know what you're spending and what you're taking in. Kumio should have known this. Someone's
No,
writing the check. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. But I'm saying that, but like Gino's cashing the check. Like I understand that he's getting a bigger check, but then does that mean whoever is consciously does that? But it makes it sound like, and we'll hear from the clip right now. But he makes it sound like Gino didn't know. Like Gino just thought he got a raise. But then that means the person between Kumia and Gino getting the paycheck must.
Right, that's
have
his
known.
insinuation. Or that someone else got the money and Gino
All right, we
wasn't
got-
getting as much. That's the insinuation.
Interesting. Interessante.
Right?
Yeah, I'm going to imagine that the way that it
Misplaced
worked.
money.
Yeah, right. You probably had E-Rock who approved the pay to people.
God, we're such women. I don't know why this bothers me
No,
so
No, I
much.
know because
Fuck.
well, it's I mean, it's interesting stuff. And the other
It's
thing
not
is-
interesting. It's just
well,
drama.
one of the things
I mean,
that
fuck,
one
we're
of the
pieces of
things
shit.
that Dixon said, I've heard Pat say on his show is like he couldn't believe how much money Gino was making.
Yeah.
And that was a theme throughout the entire time the compound was on. People were like, you're paying this guy? Especially after Aaron left. Right? So, all right, let me go ahead and let's
It
see.
was
Also,
gonna get on
but
that
Gino
too.
was getting gigs at one point. Was actually getting gigs. I mean, he talks about going on the road with Artie and stuff. So
Yeah, he that's what I'm saying. When I said he
you
had
have to be good enough to be with Artie.
when I said he had a career, that's what
Yeah,
I meant.
yeah.
He was Gino's not he's a really nice guy. He was funny, but he just got like COVID broke him.
Yeah.
And he also went, there's many stories out there. I mean, I know Berg, but it's not like it was confidential that Gino had a drinking problem. And Berg wanted him to stop drinking. And Gino's
Oh, so we all thought it was the N words, but it's the drinking. Huh?
and he went, well, it was that too. And Berg wanted to move on. Like Berg was getting commercials. I don't know if you remember, but Berg had an NFL commercial.
Yeah.
Right?
And he was in that
So-
movie.
He was in a movie, but he was also like for CBS NFL.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like the buff guy, and he was in a fur coat, and he was driving
I
a
remember.
Ferrari or something.
Sure.
He was getting that, and he was like, "Look, we need to slow this stuff down in that area. We need to move in a different area." And Gino was fighting back. Gino is, no, this is what we've got to do. We've got to be we've got to be the truth tellers. Nobody's left. And combined with the drinking, I guess there was the whole Cleveland show. I think it was Cleveland. They were doing the comedians of the compound. And I guess on one of the shows, Gino was either so drunk that he couldn't perform, or that when he performed, he was just awful. And so Berg told him he had to lighten up on the booze. And Gino's solution was to not get hammered until after he performed.
Sound?
And then
Sound logic?
Right,
they
first.
Right, but then, so the way that I understand the story, and I may be misremembering, but Gino got so drunk at one point, they basically had to carry him back to the hotel and put him, and it was embarrassing.
No.
Berg is the guy that set all those shows up. Berg did the booking.
Yeah.
He did all, and it was like embarrassing to him at a club.
I remember.
This comic was so sloppy.
And I even remember when Berg was like, he like actively looked for, that's when he went on the road with Lewis, and they knocked it out of the park.
Right.
When he ended up leaving Compound, he was doing gigs with Gino. He just fucking jumped on with Lewis, and they did, 20, 30, they went on the road, did like 20, 30 shows. I mean, when I say knocked it out of the park, Kevin's like, what do they do? They sold a couple of shows? What are you talking about? But yeah, they kept the lights on.
I can say with absolute
drunk and sloppy drunk, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. You're saying
that's why you got to do cocaine, kids.
Picking a fight or something like that, or you're just hanging on your boys, drunk and like silly. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of drunk was he? If it's like the bad kind,
it's the sloppy drunk.
I mean,
blackout drunk.
It was the
probably.
And I can say with certainty that Aaron did not want to leave
every night.
Right, Aaron did not want to go, and and it got to be a problem, And Gino blamed Aaron's wife. Gino blamed, the COVID, on and on and on. But the reality is he was the problem, and I can see it. But I did ask Aaron one time. I said something along the lines of like, was it a hard job or was it? And he told me it was the greatest job he'd ever had.
Oh,
so I mean,
he's not good money, just fun.
He loved doing it. Yeah, he had a lot of fun, and you could see in the beginning they had a lot of fun, and then I think it just got the tension grew. But anytime you're in a partnership, if you've ever worked with a partner,
there's always there's always things to be made.
There's always a problem between you and the partner, or the partner gets a girlfriend, and then that creates a big problem.
Of course,
or the wife. So
yeah, but I mean, when you have a partner, you have to make sure that also too. I mean, like that's Berg's right to like tell Gino that they're co-hosts on the show, and if Berg, you always have to, that's why I don't phone bomb you, Schmiel.
But you also have to be sympathetic to what other people are doing, right? Like, if you are racist or super right wing or whatever. Maybe tone it down when your buddy who's trying to be in the mainstream.
Yeah, I'm not BYB Dave here. I'm Shmuel Buckman Dave.
And I just feel like, and this is just my opinion, but I also feel like Berg got married. He had a daughter. He bought a house. It was like there was more. Losing the job meant something to Berg. Gino didn't care, right? Like, he didn't want to lose it, obviously, but he didn't have anything at risk.
He had no mouths to feed.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
And that was his job. That, Berg had larger aspirations. Felt like that was Berg's. Berg always wanted that to be the side hustle, maybe. And Gino was like, no, this is my game. So maybe he thought about a little bit of that. And he's at the Free Speech Network. I can understand. But again, you have to compromise when you're a partner.
And free speech is not yelling the N-word, or I'm going to use that one. Just, it's not. There's like a million words in the English language, right? You could figure out a way to say what you want to say without just being an asshole.
Yeah.
Some people want to shock in order to like get more fans. Like if I watch Gino, who knows what he's gonna say? What crazy things are coming out of Gino's mouth today? So every day Gino's got to try to re-shock him or hit him even harder. You know what he's gonna do next to make him crazy? Let me show some taint. You know what I'm saying? Then boom, they get there.
Yeah.
It's like chasing that white dragon. You know, it's you're never gonna get that first high. It's always it's a little bit lower, but the further you go, boom, you crash, right?
Although Min Diggity does have a good point that Kumia has found out a way to make money off of Twitter being racist as fuck.
Yeah.
So maybe Gino is just a trailblazer and
Right.
a man before his time.
Right, but it's a different.
I
right?
know.
It's like no, but it's
again,
it's like,
Kumia's on his own. He's the
it's
boss.
like knowing what what environment you're in.
Yeah.
And the people around you, right?
And the people around you. Yeah. All right, let's go.
And you have to be sensitive to those people. So.
Being
You have
the
to,
nice,
yeah.
loyal
You ready, guys? Here we go.
guy that I am, and just speak my fucking mind. Especially when now you're saying you paid me twice as much when you should.
So wait, so the Gino that's the free speech guy, so the Gino that only tells the truth, the Gino that's the Gino has not been telling us the truth? He's not been speaking his mind? Is that what we're saying here?
Good of. I said it. Good Lord. And then you slight Garrett and Steve. Well, I would have had a co-host. What the fuck were Garrett and Steve? Oh, get it all. Get it all. Copy it all. It's just, look, the new year moving forward, I cannot thank everyone enough who's joined my Patreon, who's stayed loyal to what we were doing. I can't. I started the Patreon so late because, well, when I thought I was, being rewarded for my fucking loyalty at Compound Media, and I'd be heading over to Gavin's shit network that is fucking.
So
Oh
Will,
my God.
you're in TV, judging by your name at least.
Oh my God.
How much loyalty?
Before we go there, I want to ask you a question because I try to get you to stop it. Do you think he's grifting off of Garrett and Steve? You see him with them a lot, right? You see him always kind of jumping in, and stuff like that. It's him and Garrett and Steve. I didn't mean to cut you off, sure, but I want to get that.
No, I think Garrett and Steve are more popular than he is, and I think Garrett and Steve are like the old, he's their old boss, so to speak, and he was the big. I think they show him a lot more respect than he's due.
I mean, Will, you bring up a great point right now because it's funny. Like now that historically, something that you never talk about with men, right? Or with women, let's say. With women, you never bring up their weight, their age. Where men, you never ask about their salary. It's always been like this thing. You never talk about money. It's tacky, they say.
Right.
And like KB has kind of broken through this world, Dabbleverse / YouTube, wherever, to where it's all about the money. And he even got Kumia to say it, dude. And Gino seems like he's panicking a little bit because it's like,
Well, that's your measuring stick, right? Like how many do they love
grift?
you? They'll pay you. You know what I'm saying? You got to make that money.
That's why, I mean, maybe, Garrett, I don't know if Gino even knew how much Garrett and Steve were making. I mean, do you know those things? I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I do. I just think, considering all the shit that people said about Gino for the couple of 3 years or whatever it was after Berg left that he had the show, it's like saying he didn't have loyalty is ridiculous, right? The loyalty only ran out when the money ran out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that he doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
100%.
But I mean, I'm talking about Kumia's loyalty to him. Kumia could have, when Berg left, Kumia could have just said, or even E-Rock could have just said, yeah,
Gino's loyalty.
But we kept you, right? We kept you there. We were loyal to you. We kept you on the air. And now he's saying, like, I was the one that was loyal, not them.
The last thing I want to say with Gino is that he mentions maybe in this video or maybe in another clip, because I watched the whole interview with Kumia and KB. And first of all, he knows KB, he knows Kumia better than us. And I know enough of Kumia to know that whatever he was doing on that show was not trashing Gino. And it, in a way, was actually being, he kept saying how much he loved them and drinking,
Right.
and blah, blah, blah. And Yeah, he said a few things here and there about the income. Maybe that's what Gino is a little pissy about. But like to think that he went on there and trashed you is a fucking low thing to say. Especially how we know how Kumia acts and like we know how he's afraid of
I think Kevin
emotion,
set Kumio
whatever.
up to like
Confrontation.
agree to the double pay. You know what I mean? And so then
Yeah.
Kumio was like, yeah, I was paying. Then Gino was being paid double. And so then Gino's like,
Right.
wait a minute, wait, I don't think I was paid double. And so Gino wants it to be like shown
Sure.
that, hey, was I paid double? Show me in the books. And if Gino's right, I think he's got a point. You know what I'm saying? I'd be pissed too. But if he was making the money, I mean, who knows? But I think Brendan knew what he was doing in that situation. And then Kumia, as Kumia does, has Gavin fire people for him. He didn't want to kind of start a fight with Brendan on Brendan's show. So he just kind of went with it. And then it leaves Gino on the outside doing this, which, you know what I'm saying? I don't like agreeing with Gino, but I'm trying to see his point, right?
Yeah, no, I mean I see the point, but again, it's like yeah, you know what I think pisses him off more? He really doesn't know. He thought he was he really thinks that he was getting a raise, and like that's kind of the sadder part because
That's scary.
he doesn't even have control of the budget of his own show then.
We might know.
And so I'm just curious.
Besides
And
the
again,
check.
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah. And look, the thing with Kumia is Kumia just wanted to perform. He wanted to come in. He wanted to do a show. We didn't want to be bothered by any of this stuff. So, but you can't do that when you own a business, right? But he did, and he was letting people. And look, Kumia had a lot of loyalty, right? He had Keith the cop do everything, and he knew stuff was going
$100,000
wrong.
a month or a year he was losing. What was he losing? Like
10, I think he was saying, was it 10,000 a quarter?
Yeah, came out to like 200,000 or like a few years or something that was just giving away money.
Right. And
That's loyalty right there.
yeah,
right.
That's
But
loyalty.
But Anthony did take
Putting
the
your money where
easier,
your mouth
softer
is.
way, right? Like he didn't go out and seek real talent. He got Keith the cop,
Right? Yeah.
and then
Right?
he got
should've been
and
better,
then he got E-Rock,
but-
right?
It's like he took what little he learned at XM and radio, and then he's like, but I want to do it with my friends, and then he realized real quick that you can't do it that way.
I
Business
think
is
he
real
was.
business.
I would also say too is it's like he just didn't want to do it himself.
Yeah,
So
that's part of
he
it.
found the first person or the first people that could do it. I've done that. I've
Bro, if
I've hired somebody and then gone like later on, like what the hell was I thinking? But it was because I didn't want to deal with it.
You
I
want
didn't
to
wanna
bet
deal-
just be funny, and I get that too, right? Don't you just want to be the talent?
yeah, you just
Or
want to be the
just
talent, especially when you're shelling out all the money. But I bet if Garrett was a little bit older when all this happened, because he was probably 28 instead of like 38 or whatever he is now. So maybe I think that if he would have put into Garrett's hands, I think a lot of this shit would have. I don't think a lot of this shit would have. I think Garrett would have been a much better manager of that place than Keith the Cop. And I've never met either of them, so I have no idea.
I don't disagree. One of the things that I will say that I was not aware of when they did their last show on Compound, and they had Keith the Cop on the phone, and they were talking to him, and Garrett was talking about how he loved Keith the Cop so much because Keith always brought him the best weed, and Keith always had great. And that's the part. Like somebody said it in the chat, they treated it like it was a frat house, not a business.
Sure.
And basically they're lucky that it lasted as long as it did.
Yeah, and the only reason Lewis can stay on top of Gas Digital is because he's involved. He's got his hands in all of it. He's 100% involved in everything that happens. So it's allowed to run at that level because he's overlooking the craziness also.
Well, is it Ralph? Is that his partner in that?
Ralph Sutton, yeah. is the
Ralph
partner.
Sutton, and Ralph is a very hands-on guy with this.
Yeah, he does he sees all the numbers and everything too. He's there with them, but Lewis is like he's in the culture, like you know what I mean.
Imagine they don't screw up the payment processor thing, and things
Yeah.
just go normal for a while, and all these asleep accounts are just giving them money. How long do you think they keep going before they shut the doors down? Prematurely? Stupid mistakes like that.
They thought about that. I mean, they said they lost almost $1 million because of it, pretty much.
Right.
And nobody noticed.
They noticed. They noticed right away.
Yeah.
But they didn't do anything about it. They couldn't do anything about it. Or they didn't.
No, because they basically tried. They thought that they could import all their credit cards, whatever. But I guess certain states you couldn't do or whatever. So only 13 or 18 states were able to get their credit card processing. So if you didn't live inside of that, it didn't get ported over. It's like some bullshit like that.
Right. The question I'm asking is, everybody says they canceled their compound, right? Or they hadn't paid and they still got.
That also happened. That was a separate bug. Right. That's what happened with me. That was a separate bug.
The initial money where they were making.
So what was the bug you were talking about?
So what happened initially was Keith the Cop. The first time Keith the Cop was trying to save money, so they switched like with Melton, switching different processor. Okay. And the processor told them that they can port over all the accounts. So anything that's being processed will just go into a new processing. They don't have to do anything. But I guess in some of these states, you need verbal or written or some kind of verification from the person anytime it switches processors in certain states. Some states it just lets you do it. So they only got like half of their subscribers.
Let's say people who wanted to keep it. That we're just asleep and we're just giving you money, every month. Yeah. And then the next month, all of a sudden it just stops because Montana doesn't recognize that processor.
Yeah, now, or something.
Multiple states. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big oof. So they couldn't really fix that. But what you're talking about, Shmuel, is the bug that happened to me, which was I was no longer being charged, but I was getting access to the shows.
Right, and it wasn't.
And it shows the views.
It wasn't a small problem, right? Like it was a big.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
A lot of people.
Gas Digital went through the same shit also, but like Compound, you go through the reviews and stuff like that. Like even Kumia's show a year or two ago, it's only getting 2,000-3,000 hits. Gino's show was getting like 400 views. I mean, they're not getting a lot of views, but I get it. 400 times 5 or whatever, 10. Okay.
Melton one time said that the worst thing that Kumia I wouldn't say the worst, but one of the things that Kumia did that was bad for Gino was he made him think he had a lot more viewers than he had.
Yeah.
By continuing to pay him.
Those are the Glenn Ross like the Glenn Ross leads though. It's like those are the good customers to have. They're the premium customers.
Gone out of its way. It's like Gavin would have had to try harder to fuck up Anthony's show as much as he has with fucking Ryan Katz-Rivera, who I'm sorry makes everything sound tinny. Fucking didn't take Garrett and Steve. I'll be the first to admit. People are like, oh, they should have taken Garrett, not Chino.
Oh, there, yeah. See, yeah.
If you want they should have taken Steve and Garrett. Yeah. They should have at least taken Drew. Yeah. But they didn't. And you get what you don't pay for over there. And I'll tell you, I will to the end of time be loyal to Anthony. But, what am I supposed to say to him? What am I supposed to say when someone goes on air and says, yeah, I was just, and he's watching the money Kevin is making, and maybe he's thinking, why'd I even merge with Gavin? Why didn't I just do my own thing?
Yeah.
Nope. He ain't thinking that.
He ain't thinking that at all.
He ain't seeing $130,000 and thinking $200,000 minus the whatever. He ain't seeing $150,000 or whatever the fuck KB made and thinking that. He's not. Because he's got worried about losing his fucking YouTube channel every fucking day. You can't show your gun, you can't say this, you can't he's not. I guarantee he's making more than that he's making more than $150,000 a year with Gavin. I guarantee it.
Right. And he owns half the company. And
I mean, I heard 20,000 subs.
Gavin saved him from going nowhere. I mean, it's not like this was sustainable, right? Yep. It's not like Kumia could have just said, "Oh yeah, let's just keep it going." And
I don't know.
I'm just gonna I'll let things ride. He couldn't do that.
I think that when Gavin, because I heard numbers around they each had around, I don't remember if they each had around 12,000 or if they each had around 20,000 or 24,000. If they each had that many subscribers that they were now combining, or if that's how much they each like. But I think Gavin saw his 12,000 subscribers or whatever a month and was like, yeah, come on over, drop all that dead weight and come on over here, baby. And even if you lose 50%, it's almost still kind of worth it for both people. 5,000 subs it's pretty good fucking money.
Yeah,
Right.
$5-10 a sub.
It's coming. Money's
But
coming in.
You're right, and it's just like, guess what? You don't have to pay. If you lose half of what you're bringing in, you're still making more money because you don't have to pay expenses. You don't have to do payroll. You don't have to be bothered by any of this stuff. You know,
You just need talent.
right?
Yeah,
and the Garrett,
exactly.
right? And the not bringing. Look, everybody that I've heard of talk about Garrett loved Garrett. They all
Yeah.
thought Garrett was a great guy, did a great job, all that.
Seem funny.
But if
nice to
you're a new company, or if you're bringing in a company that's failing, do you bring in their guy? Do you want, his standards to become your standards in the new company? That, I don't picture I don't know Gavin, but I would imagine the dude sitting around like Gavin can drink all he wants. He can do whatever he wants on his show, but I don't think he wants his employees doing that.
Right. Handling the books.
Right.
My sound would be just as shitty, and it wouldn't be this shitty because I would have brought Garrett in. But no. So then I sit there and
His audio's still shitty.
What's interesting though, what I find funny about, if you stop this and interrupting, and I apologize, but he keeps telling people who are successful what they should be doing. And here's the guy who lost his YouTube channel. He's on Rumble. He's a butt of all the jokes around the cap. Yet he's got all the answers.
Oh, it was just a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Fucking, it's whatever you want it to be. But I'm proud of how I got here. I'm proud
this
of
me
what
in
I've
12
always
years,
done
dude?
behind the desk, behind the
I don't picture you this way.
All right, relax.
microphone, on stage, off stage. Everyone that fucking has followed me over to Patreon, thank you, knows this is the guy that I've always been. Knows that I'm a genuine dude. And I say it like it is. And yeah, you're welcome, Anthony, for me fucking throwing the shit on my back when everything was crashing around. You're welcome for me keeping my fucking busted jaw shut when Pat Dixon fucking broke it and told everyone that you fucking had to fire him because I threatened to sue you, and you never once said, that's a lie. Try it, Anthony. I fucking showed up and did my fucking job because I was grateful. But instead, what do I hear? Yeah, I shouldn't have given Gene all that money. It's a fuck. And then you do the fucking soprano. It's a fucking joke. God damn it, you're hurting feelings, buddy.
Oh, Gino, no!
Why
Come here, boo-boo. Oh, feelings. His feelings got hurt.
But his shit cracked a little bit when he said bud.
And he really did insist that
You're
Dixon
married.
be fired, right?
He married.
Why don't you ask Garrett? I know you still talk to him after you fucking just left him down. Why don't you ask Garrett and Steve how many times fucking Pat Dixon didn't come in? How many times he fucking showed up whacked out on that? How many times he showed up just and that's fine, Anthony.
Wow.
Whacked out on
you
pills.
ran
Right.
the show like
Dropping
you wanted to,
secrets.
and I loved it. It's like the line from and
Be
and I love that I'm
snitching.
talking it because I know all the fucking shit tards in the Dabbleverse will clip this, and I love it because I'm just being honest.
God.
The bottom line is fucking no one ever walked in and said change it. Everything you're doing, Anthony's fine. I just hope the message is getting across that just once I wish you would say Gino really was great. Gino really was loyal. Gino would never threaten to sue me. Pat Dixon fucking really fucking assaulted him, left. He was on drugs. But no, just you say nothing and let these lies fucking manifest on the fucking world of the internet, which I have to survive on now, and I will.
It was their fault. He did it. He drew first blood.
I do all these nice things for you, Anthony, and I waste all of your money, and you give it all to me to do very little. How could you take me off of your air? airs.
Anthony, I walked 3 miles every day to your office during COVID, even though I didn't have to.
$100 a week.
That kind of loyalty.
Yeah.
But
okay,
Jesus Christ,
fine.
what step up for your boy who worked 8 fucking years and never
8 hours a day?
I'll say something. You never gave me the chance.
Yeah, it was 8. It was 8 years.
You're welcome.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. I've said thank you countless times. But Jesus Christ, there's a lockdown. There's a lockdown in New York City where no one is leaving their place, where I fucking tell Aaron, yes, take your beautiful wife and get the fuck out of Dodge. And I go in every day, every single fucking day. And how do I get rewarded? The guy that did the opposite during the lockdown got addicted to Adderall and broke my fucking jaw.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Oh, Anthony. And not once did you say, Pat Dixon is a piece of shit. I don't care that you play cards with him. Just once, fucking Anthony. Just once. All this never. Oh. And then you showed up and Gino killed me with his
Wait, go back for 1 second, please. Go back to that.
Never. Oh. And then you showed up and Gino killed me with his shot. Stop it.
It's still broken.
Once say fucking just once say what Pat Dixon did was a shitty thing to do. I regret giving him twice as much money. You didn't. You didn't. You should have. Watch Todd. What's up, buddy? Go for Gino.
Did I miss something here? Did something happen?
Love you. So what I'm saying is, just once. Just once. I mean, and I'll say, I don't know that he, and in Anthony's defense, he didn't care what was going on. He fucking gave us a playground, and for that, I'm thankful. But Jesus Christ, fucking, you should have given us that money. We should have split it 3 ways, me, Garrett, and Steve. That's it. But now, fucking, just when I let it all go, I enter the new year by everyone just bombarding me with shit that came out, and I'm like, what? Yeah, you get paid you twice as much. What? What?
What's up, Joey C?
At some point.
Hey, Joey C. Dave
Hey,
Sauer's
Joey,
best
I thought you
friend.
had beef with the Clippers. Didn't you say a bunch of mean things about the Clippers and now we steal people's talent? What's up with that, man?
Oh, let's talk about that in a bit. So,
okay, so
that is true.
Listening to the Gino, I just want to say, listening to the Gino clip, right? So it seems like Cumia wasn't involved in the business and what was going on, and nor was the talent. Like, wouldn't you have asked? Like, you knew Anthony had talked about, you knew he had a health problem. Anthony had talked about more than a year before Compound, before the heart stuff, that the subscription model wasn't sustainable, all that. Like, wouldn't you have asked questions? Right? It's like everybody in this whole scenario was sitting there, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and hoping things just continued on. Sad stuff.
Well, you get a check. Why would you care?
I'm
paid.
With Gino, I mean, I always kind of assumed they kind of knew this. Now, Gino's talked about how he thought that Garrett would have gone down to South Carolina, maybe, and he says that he probably would have done that because he even brings up how Gavin had asked even Garrett if he'd be willing to move down there like a year ago. Just because I guess Kumi and Gavin had been talking about this for a while. But with Gino, I feel like he started his YouTube channel. Like, I feel like he was doing all this in preparation for it to be gone. I thought he knew. Or I thought maybe he's going to try to weasel his way down to South Carolina. But I think KB already poo-pooed that. He's like, he doesn't want him down there. He would have asked already.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little late, but KB has also been screaming for 2 years as Anthony was building the South Carolina compound that, there's no way he keeps that studio open. There's no way. And even if you didn't believe KB, it's got to put some questions in your head, right?
Yeah, nobody knew. Everybody knew they weren't gonna keep it, man.
Anthony had a heart attack. Like,
yeah,
dude, like he put everything into it: his soul, his life, his body, like his money.
And now
it was died.
And now the show's perfect for Gavin's platform.
Yeah.
Because it's a slower show. It's more politically based. It's a like if he wants to have people on, he can have people on. But it's like just him with the camera, which is he's used to, and he's done it like that for years. It's no longer going to be the Artie with Gilbert Godfrey and shit. It's not going to ever be that like that ever again. So
right.
It's just a different show now.
Yeah. And Kumi is so funny. He can do his own show on his own.
He could do it. That's
you know what I mean with Gavin.
And it's interesting. With political. Yeah.
Kumi can just be talent. You know what I mean with the longer rope.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. I've talked about it with Shmuel. Chad's so fucking stupid. The first thing he did was make fun of censored.band or whatever the fuck it is, like the website. But let me tell you something. I've been on that website and I've been in this world of e-commerce and all this shit for a long time. That's one of the best ran websites of all. It never fucks up. Unique talks about how it's one of the best ran. He subscribes to all of them. And I agree. Like the website is very well run. There's no bugs. You pay for something, you get it. You don't pay for it, you don't get it. And there's tons of stuff on there. And it's fast. And anyway, so let's go. Enough sucking his dick.
No, you're not sucking anybody's dick. I don't particularly like Gavin. That's why I don't subscribe to Compound. To Censored. Compound.
I don't subscribe anymore either, but I did at one point.
Yeah,
it's all kind of, you get it eventually on YouTube anyway, usually.
Right. I feel like, I could watch Rumble and I get basically the same stuff. That same right-wing stuff. All right, boys. So it's right at 12:15. I can end it, but I'm awake and I'm happy to stay. But we're gonna switch gears, and I think we wanted to do Ray. Was that correct?
Let's do one last clip then with Ray.
I'll hang with you guys.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, all right, buddy. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. So, Will, I'm gonna ask you the question.
Oh shit!
Tell us about Dr. Chow.
Oh, okay. What do you want to know about Dr. Chow? It's my boy.
This is the clip where you were talking about David, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
43-minute mark.
All right. I have it up. It's okay. I want to get Will.
You're not sharing the screen yet, but yeah.
No, I know. I'm not.
Okay.
You're doing a good job, Shmuel.
No, I want to ask you, what do you think of Chow?
Sorry.
I know that before the clip or after?
Now, before the clip. I want to get your there's a reason for me. I'm setting it up a certain way.
Okay. Well, I hope in this clip he says nice things about me, or if he is or not. Well,
there's nothing about you in the clip.
No,
we're not.
Chow's my boy. When I first started streaming, when I first got kind of monetized and rolling with this, Chow had my back, and we did like some shows together and stuff like that, and like we would interview people, and like when Alyssa Jordana like got beat up and all that stuff, like him and me got together and did some shows, and those blew up, and so we kind of like.
That's how Doom got big. That's how Doom got big.
Yeah,
Jordana clips.
Exactly. So we kind of just bounced around with each other, and kind of knew the same people. If I could help him out, I would, and if he'd help me out, I like Dr. Chow. He's been very cool to me, and he's my boy, and I would work with him anytime he wanted to work with me. And same with General Mudd. I know you don't like him, but I like Chad. He's been super cool to me. He's had a weird arc. Like I didn't like him at the beginning, but I like him now.
So it's fine. You could like Chad. Doesn't make me think any less of you.
Now, what are you going to hit me with, Shmuel? I'm worried.
Yeah. Dave?
Chow, I don't really know Chow all that much. I've just watched a little bit here and there of when he's on with Chad. So I don't catch Chad's show all that much. But Chow seems like he just looks like he's like another Spurg like me. Seems fine.
He's cool.
All right. So this brings us to Chow does a weekly show with General Mudd.
Completely
shitting on Ray DeVito, right? So Ray has Nasty Neil on the other night, and the question is Neil trolling Ray or not? That's what we're going to try to establish here. Here we go.
You're a good man. Thank you. Just don't porn bomb my channel.
You're not. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to start shooting at the screen with my guns. John Landis.
So Ray just got up to go to the bathroom or get a beer or something.
You hit the back,
that up.
you
Boomer
fucking
move,
idiot.
man.
Yeah, the
Boomer
worst.
move.
Fucking Mint Diggity's talking shit right now in chat.
Melinda scream. What's
Sorry, cat.
Wow, dude. Look what you did,
I know, I'm
man.
a fucking asshole.
Just go back.
I'm
What
going.
charge
I'm
is it
going.
There you go. There you go.
Fucker smash.
Okay.
Not gonna happen. I'm not gonna start shooting at the screen with my guns. Or John Landis directed a thriller. Came up here in the chat. Let's see. Snagglepuss, a bathroom for beer. Who knows? That could be possible. By the way, I mentioned my film. The last time I was on MLC, I believe they said I didn't mention the name, but
Yeah.
the
The
Once
last
and
time.
Future
First and
Smash
last
is,
time.
this is a horror comedy, a mockumentary, kind of like This Is Spinal Tap, but about the horror world. So you don't have to be a big horror fan, but it would help because I think you would know the people in it and get the in jokes better. But that was my first feature
Mentioning
movie.
the
that
most
and
famous
Zone 2,
mockumentary of
and,
all
they are
time.
available on Blu-ray, and they're also streaming.
Comparing it.
Let's see.
Sort of like Trailer Park Boys meets The Office.
Shu Lee, Ray is going to snort some cocaine with Dave Sarah. It's OG Mumbling Nick, have you ever been in the Conjuring house? No, I haven't, but that's not far from me.
I didn't
not
even
far
hear
from
that.
Nick either. We're very close.
I didn't
know-
tell you
don't
that
wanna
part.
dox
That's fucking hilarious.
Harry Dunn. Neil, what are your 5 favorite things about Rob Saul? I like Rob Saul. He's a horror guy. He likes horror movies. He's
likes horror movies.
We're gonna get
did we
into
miss
all
it?
that. Go ahead, finish your thought about.
Oh, no, I like Rob. I don't want people to think I don't like.
Did we miss it?
I don't know. You told me to look for the part where he stands up and goes away, so I didn't even listen to it or cue it up. So I guess that's my bad. My bad. So my bad. Let me see if I can find another spot. You guys will explain what happened with Dr. Chow. Let me see if I can find it.
Dr. Chow and Ray don't get along.
No.
Right? Look, I don't know how Dr. Chow feels about Ray.
He hates Ray.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, he also hates Ray. Okay.
Yeah, he hates Ray.
Well, yeah, I just don't know what I guess what I'm saying is I don't know whether it's a gimmick or an act or shtick or if it's real.
He really doesn't like him a lot. I'll tell you that.
I know that Ray really doesn't like Dr. Chow.
Yeah, that's
true. There's a part in this where Ray gets up and says, "Oh, take it over, Neil." And Neil,
Okay, hold on. Let me see if there's another part. Keep going.
And Neil's. Are you doing the clip or am I? I'm confused.
I'm looking to see if I can find another part where he gets up, but I don't see it yet. So I don't see another part in that podcast where he gets up.
I'll just be here.
It's okay. It's all right.
No. Hold on a second. I think we might have because I thought it was really quick after. Let's just start here and see.
It was like the first horror movie I saw, and I was like, "That's a good movie." It was just a good movie.
The lead of that, Mark Patton, he's in my the first feature I made, the Once and Future Smash.
Okay,
I bet she doesn't even say Dr. Chow.
I'm gonna let you talk to the free chat, and then we're gonna watch some of the clips because that you sent me that I want to get into.
All right,
you're a good man.
Thank you.
Just don't porn bomb my channel.
You're not. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to start shooting at the screen with my guns. John Landis directed a thriller.
That's the stuff we saw.
Snagglepuss, the bathroom for
you think Ray could have cut it out?
By the way, I mentioned my film. The last time I was on MLC.
Yeah, right. This
part.
I mean,
I don't know.
Could have. I think we would have noticed the cut though.
About the horror world, so
would it matter? Like, would you want this?
I'll keep it up for a second because he does kind of lean in when he does it. But in any event, Ray gets up and goes, and Neil leans into the camera and he's like, "I got to talk about my boy Dr. Chow. Dr. Chow's like the greatest thing on the internet. Dr. Chow, Dr. Chow, Dr. Chow." And Ray comes back, and Ray has no idea this happened. I don't think it ever comes up again.
I wonder if it's a different episode.
Neil, what are your five?
Is it?
favorite things about Bob
Has
Saul?
Neil been on
I
more than
like
once?
Bob Saul. He's a horror guy.
I remember him having like a holiday background once.
Discovery. Yeah, we're gonna get into all that.
I don't know.
Go ahead, finish your thought about.
Oh, no, I like
So maybe Neil was on in another episode.
Maybe. I'll see if I can take a look for
But
it.
it's
about everything.
it's hilarious because I'm like,
I get that's probably.
I almost wanted to send Ray a
but I also I
text and say, Ray, do you know you just got trolled? but I didn't. Ray's
Chow
kind
was
of
really cool with Neil. So I think like Neil and like Chow are being friends, and so obviously Ray doesn't know that. But I don't know if Chow is setting him up to do that. I don't think he is.
I don't. It seemed honest. I don't think Neil.
Yeah.
It seemed like Neil was just doing it because it was like, because he wasn't planning on talking about it, and then he's alone. And it's like, I got to run. What am I going to say? And then he said that. And so then he went into the free chat. So I don't know when it happened, but it definitely happened. I did not imagine it.
All right. Well, I'll try to look for it, but
yeah, it's all right.
It's fine.
All right. So in a couple of more minutes, what did Will? You and I talked about the Carlos Danger and Ray thing when you were on my show, the fight that they were having. Have you seen Did you see the David Collins thing where Ray goes into talking about Franklin Sheckler? Doing them?
Yes.
You did a clip. That was what I was going to pull up. You did a clip of, was it Meme Copium? Talking about it, right?
Right. Yeah, them in PC. Yeah. Most definitely. There's a couple of those on there. We kind of broke it down where, like, Ray didn't owe any type of expectation of privacy when he walks into a freaking studio with recording equipment everywhere and microphones everywhere. Now, as a courtesy, when I interview people, I say, we're rolling, we're recording, and that's because I'm cool. But I don't have to do that. Once we're like together, I put a mic in your face or you have a mic or whatever around you, it's understood we're recording. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think Collins did him dirty. I don't know. He didn't have to pull that stuff out and put it out there, though. Like, definitely didn't have to. But again, Ray has no expectation of privacy. So I don't see any way, like Sean was saying, too, that he has a fart in the wind of winning a court case.
Yeah. And Colin said something that was funny, which was he thought Ray might be there might be a lawyer that's taking advantage of him.
You know, if you're paying.
Yeah, but I know a little bit about this, and I think what happened is that people, some chatters pay pigs, for lack of a better word.
Leo Gunn?
Sort of, no.
We're looking at you, Leo Gunn.
Sort of
T.O. Hanks. Borgo.
You know, Ray started with this defamation, and then they encourage it. No, it's not any of the. It's none of the good people. It's we could talk about it off air, but it's somebody that you would expect. And then Ray also got a chance to go to somebody for free, and that person explained the process to Ray and was like, "Look, I could send a cease and desist."
Oh yeah, you did tell me who. That's right.
And the deal is they could, and I had said to Ray, and I think a lot of people had said to Ray, that's the worst thing that you could do, because the guy will just take the friggin' cease and desist and do an entire show about it.
Right.
You know? Surely the total Streisand effect.
Exactly. I mean, Ray doesn't remember what they did with the stutter, like what Shuli did with the Stuttering John cease and desist. Cease and assist. No, wait. Cease and assist.
You will desisticle.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Ray, unfortunately, he likes to play dumb. We know he doesn't know who Deitois is, because he does this thing where like when KB's like, do you know who Deitois is? He's like, he doesn't know. He thinks that if he says yes, that like he's gonna be in trouble for whatever reason. So he says no, thinking KB means, do you know Deitois? Like, do you know that person personally? Do you talk to them every single day? Do you have a conversation with them? That's what he thinks KB's asking. It's like, no, do you fucking know who Deitois is, you stupid motherfucker?
Yeah, it gets you so frustrated too. Like, you just want to strangle the guy. So, like, you think in the beginning it's an act, but like no one can be that dumb. But it just, as you've watched for the past 2 or 3 years, someone can be, and it is, and it's so real, and it just makes you want to punch a baby sometimes.
Sometimes I think to myself, I would kill for that audience too, Ray's audience, and then I realize Ray, Chad, Stuttering John, these people are fucking dumb, and I watch them because they're retarded.
I think that's more about us being, not very smart to watch them.
Yeah.
Other than them, they're probably smarter than us because we give them our money.
I would do the Stuttering John thing all day long for the money he's making. You could insult me, you could insult my kid.
Yeah.
After a while, I don't know, man. I have a soul.
Okay, but that $60K after taxes, the $60K and after YouTube gets their money, it's pretty good.
$60K, really? Like,
I mean, he made 88.
He grossed 88.
I'm just saying.
88, that's okay. That's not bad.
But I mean, he grossed 88. So I mean, he's taking home 65.
Okay, well, then you can live on that.
Less even, maybe, probably. But
that's a single bedroom apartment, comfortably.
I get that,
but he's got other. But I'm sure he has residuals and some other stuff coming in.
Also,
right?
But
It may not be a lot, but it could
for
it could
2 hours
get
of
him
work
to
a day.
But if he could get to 90K a year income,
getting cursed out.
It's got no.
Yeah, I mean, it's soulless, obviously.
Well, how long does it last?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, he is an astute stock investor, so.
But I mean, the money on YouTube, it's weird because like last year, the #1 in comedy was Sam Hyde and his channel. So that made about 430,000 last year. And KB sitting in comedy at #1 with $200,000. So Sam Hyde, what he did was he made his own website. So that's why this year he's not nearly as big. Same thing with NLO. NLO was #6 in comedy last year, this year. So the numbers, it fluctuates. I mean, Super Chats haven't been around for all that long, but it's not that much money in the grand scheme of things.
But the point you made earlier, I listened to this. You had said that they use their Venmo, their Zelle, their other payments, so they make a bunch of money there that we're not seeing.
Right, that too. But my overall point more is that like it's not that much money in the grand scheme of things, but it's not money that you're tied down to. Like it's not like advertising money or where like you are. It's ground roots money, which is great because the people chipping in. So I think with that, that stays a lot. I feel like that has a lot more staying power. Whereas, audiences whereas if you do a podcast and you're selling ad space, that feels like it could dry up really quick. Because once they see the numbers down, it's done.
You build an audience, the audience stays.
It stays, and it creates more people. And again, that goes back to Pat Dixon doxing or using information, weaponizing information. I don't even disagree with that because you use the information that you have at your fingertips to curate your community and your audience. I feel like you're entitled to doing that. Now, I don't agree with the way that he did it, and I would never do that, but it's kind of his right to kind of do that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, except you don't have a stock.
If you have the information. I don't know. I understand that. But I'm justifying it for him. He's got a stalker or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that like it's within your community. So if people are sending salacious things to your chat, I think you can use all the information you have available to you to put an end to that. That's what I think.
But going back to what you said, the YouTube thing, right? So we all know there's like inherent risk in YouTube. You get demonetized for 90 days or whatever. And you're talking about Sam Hyde. So with some of these guys, it seems like they know that this YouTube money may not last forever. And that's why they start building other businesses around it. And
or other payment processors.
Things like that. So, I mean, you could do it. The question is the thing you got to avoid with YouTube is getting banned, right? Because you could still do super tips if you're not monetized, I would think, as long as you have a Stripe account. I don't know how YouTube would feel about it, but
what do you mean?
Well, let's say that I'm not monetized, but I have a Stripe account.
Yeah.
I couldn't take I can take super tips. I don't know if YouTube has any control or authority, or YouTube can say
they allow it. It's all like just like StreamYard or just like Stream Elements or whatever. Like Stream Elements doesn't even take 10%. Stream Elements, they just charge you like a small transaction fee per transaction. Most transaction places, Stream Elements is free. It's got TTS, it's got text to, or TTC, whatever the fuck it is, text to chat. And so text to speech, TTS. And so they've got all that. You can use all different kinds of voices. The only difference is NLO uses Stuttering John's voice or whatever the fuck. Like,
yeah, original voice. That's wild.
And NLO takes 10%. Okay, theoretically, KB today could put up a little fucking thing in the corner of his a little QR code with the Stream Elements and not be paying any 40% anything. You could just do. But it's an extra step, and it's tedious, and then it's got to go through another thing, and then
YouTube is pissed and they don't like it. They shut their channel down.
Do they though?
I don't know.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I don't know, because all the streamers do it. Like all the video game streamers do it. All the video game streamers do it.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know, but maybe
I don't know what the rule is, though. You know.
I know. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah. You think a rug player?
Melton was talking about, they're selling the company, or no, I shouldn't say they're selling it. They've been made offers or cash infusions or selling or whatever. And their whole thing is the QR code with the gamers. That's apparently where the money is. But I guess what Dave is saying is Super Tips is not unique. There are other programs that will do essentially what Super Tips will do.
Yeah, but not with the voices and the speech pattern and stuff like that. Like, to me, that's kind of like an extra level of special, where you can like personalize it with the person you want saying it.
Right. And I think they'll get away with using people's voices for a period of time. But at some point, they're going to have to come to, some payment for the voices that they're using. I don't know when that is.
And they go after your whole catalog of every time you use one of those things. Like, you can't have this one, you can't have, or that's a strike, that's a strike, that's a strike. Like that's what they'll do. I've seen that.
Like a copyright strike, you think?
Right. Or like if they don't let you use this system, they find out that all of your streams have that system used in it. They can go after you for that.
Mint Diggity, to answer your question, I think it depends upon the creator.
Yeah.
Like some of these guys Melton works really well with it. Carl works really well with the AI voices. But I do think there are some other people who the AI voices just take control of their show. And they're not. So Will, I tried to find the clip, by the way, of it's Mean Copium, I think, who's explaining the Ray thing, but I couldn't find it. And is Dave with us? I was going to close, but I didn't want to do it while we were looking at his picture.
I think he's in the chat.
I just saw that. Yeah, he must. You know what it is? I'll bet you he's smoking a cigarette on his phone out in his backyard. And
sneaky.
So, but that's the deal. So, Will, what's coming up with you?
What's kind of crazy is I'm like 40 subscribers away from 5,000.
Wow.
That's what I can't even believe it, man. This ride has been unbelievable. Like, it started in like April when I had like 350 subs, and then the Alyssa Jordana thing went down, and I got up to like 900, and then the Ricada Emerald thing blew up, and I was like just learning to clipping, and then really getting into it, and then I just kind of held on for dear life, and then I think like doing the interviews and things like that with the different people brought in extra members and doing a little editing. I mean, I'm not a good editor by any means, but like a little of the playful stuff I think I do kind of brought some extra people in, and I don't know. I don't know what has happened, but there are 5,000 people about to be subscribers. So like, I guess I'll do a video for that or something like that. Like I told you before, I don't normally like going live because there's always opportunity for bad things to happen. But I do want. I'll put something together for them for sure. And it's not too, because you remember we had members like I used to have members. I could do special things for the members, and now like since that's gone. I can't do.
Oh
things.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
give them to you.
I think what it is, Will, is
in the
you
ass,
owe
man.
you owe Keanu a debt of gratitude. I think that's what brought you the 5,000 viewers.
She started it, dude. Like, she could have had those views. They should have been hers. I tried to give them to her.
I know.
But,
I know. I saw Chrissy fighting with somebody. Like Chrissy's going after Whitney Cummings.
Oh, she's taking the KB approach now, huh?
And
Going
it's
after the
like, well,
comics.
she's been doing but KB takes this approach. It works for KB because small numbers mean a lot to him, whereas like Chrissy wants to get really big numbers. I mean, KB's show gets what 1,000 viewers.
That's
that's
900 more than Chrissy.
Right. Well, doesn't she have 100,000 subscribers or something?
What's the biggest show you've seen her do recently?
Opie has 143,000 subscribers. Opie's had him for 15 years, and those half those accounts don't even exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
KB's what 1,000 consistently.
Yeah,
that's what I go off.
almost. He's like he's like he's an 800 guy right now, whatever. But they're
Chad's
the money,
like 5 or
baby.
6. Yeah.
The money talks.
Yeah, and when there's people in the chat spins.
You know what we should do is so if you go to that website where we got the statistics from that shows KB in first place in comedy in the US, if you go to globally, what we should start doing is we should start clipping and reviewing the #1 comedy podcast in the world.
That's a
It's
good
some,
idea.
it's like some Japanese fucking shit. I haven't even looked at it, but I can
That's a
imagine
big
it being
idea.
imagine it's just the Japanese version of KB. Oh, Joe Rogan.
You make me so mad.
You're making me so mad. Who's this guy?
You know what's going to
Jin
happen
Yang?
is at some
Jin
point you're going to be
Yang,
able to translate all this stuff to whatever language you speak is the language you're going to hear it in.
Yeah,
and
true.
And
AI
that'll be
voice.
right. And this global, you'll be watching a guy from Japan yelling, "Ah, you're so stupid."
Yeah, and then the problem with that is next thing you know, you're watching Hitler videos and thinking, you know, when he says it in English, it kind of makes sense.
No, does no.
No, I'm just
He doesn't have the emotion.
That's what our politics are lacking.
We're
these days.
Schmiel. We can make jokes with Schmiels around, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No.
You're
I get
right.
very. I get. Listen. So, by the way, we talked about this when we were in Germany a month ago, or Austria a month ago, with the iPhone. If you were, I think it was iPhone. If you took a picture, or if you would take a picture like of a box that's written in German, what you would see on your screen was it written in English.
Yeah.
And
it's great stuff, man.
I'm telling you, the translation was pretty awesome. I was shocked at how accurate it was.
Yeah.
You know?
That is
But
badass.
It reminds me of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't know if you ever read that, but the
I have,
babble
as a matter of
fish.
fact.
The
And so the
babble
movie.
fish, where they put the babble fish in your ear and then
Mhm.
you can hear,
Understand all the. Yeah, that's right.
understand all the languages. Anyway, fellas, we've done 2 hours and 12 minutes. It's 12:38 a.m. in the East, so that means this boy needs to go to bed. And
Samesies.
I have to get up early in the morning because I avoided Mrs. Buckman tonight, and I will
Oh, no.
not get that done tomorrow. No, she'll be Mrs. Buckman will be calling me at 8 o'clock, reminding me that I have to go down to our other place, which is about an hour and 15 away, and I have to walk the dog because she has to go to a service tomorrow morning, some
Wow.
kind of
Play
dead ant
Bongo?
thing. Huh?
Play Bongo?
Yeah. So that's it. So guys, Will, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Hey, man,
It
no
was
problem.
Great, real. Thanks, buddy.
Nice seeing you, Dave. You guys be
You
good.
too, man. For sure,
All
man.
right, take care,
Great.
guys.
Have a
Hey,
good night.
everybody.
Go follow Will.
I'm
We'll
gonna
put his-
pop you out, and Dave and I'll do our goodbyes.
Schmealy, baby.
Good show, pal. Glad you were on.
You too.
And
Glad to be on.
No. We had a
Glad
good
to
time.
be on.
Tonight was fun,
Mhm.
and I'm glad I surprised you with
Some good
Dan
guests.
and
Yeah.
Will, and be lucky that it wasn't Joey C.
Nah, it's fine. I could handle Joey C.
No, I know, but there's only so much Joey C you can do.
Yeah.
And there's a new Joey C out there. There's a more sedate,
Is there
getting
now?
healthy.
Oh yeah, I saw him rip off his shirt the other day. Very sedated.
Yeah, when he was on here last night, he was sedated.
Okay.
Not chemically, but just
Right,
very
just-
very mellow.
He's tired. You bring that energy.
I was thinking I bored him to tears. Which I like to do. All right, buddy. Good night.
Go
Good night,
follow me,
Chad.
David
Thanks,
Sarah.
everybody, for being
David
here.
Sarah,
all-
David Sarah. Go follow me.
Oh yeah, whatever your name is, David
David
Sarah.
Sarah, David Sarah.
We have just the latest update, just so you can feel good about yourself. We have 24 viewers on X, which means there's probably 2, and we have 3 viewers left. Now 4 on YouTube.
Yes.
So
All
there
right.
we go.
Well,
BYB rules.
thanks, guys. See you guys. Thanks, buddy.